Hi guys, welcome to Chris Cowlin's YouTube channel. This is the live watch-along for the Tottenham Hotspur versus Manchester United Carabao Cup quarter-final. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments, but I think the biggest game of our season. We're talking about a manager who's come in and he said he's a winner. He said this season, I win things in my second season. Tottenham, despite being decimated by injuries, are still in this trophy and have a chance of lifting it. We've beaten Manchester City so far in this run to the quarterfinals. And all things considered, everything I'm reading on social media at the moment is that the fans are going to make it an absolute huge fortress-like atmosphere at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tonight. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. Please do get involved, guys. Get in the comment section. Let's engage with each other. Let's start a debate. Let's go through this together, because let's face it, we all know what it's like when Tottenham get towards the back end of competitions. Just, you know, my 35 odd years, a bit longer actually, being a Spurs fan, it all comes back in PTSD. Can we actually take Manchester United team tonight? Sorry, especially a team who now have made the change in terms of their manager. Ten Hag has gone, Amorim is in, and from everything I've seen from Manchester United so far under Ruben Amorim, he's gone for that 3-4-3 formation, and it is like watching Conte ball. They're very happy to sit very deep and then try and snap out on the break. So it will not be easy tonight. Make sure that you give this video a like, guys. The more likes we get on this video on YouTube, the more Spurs fans it will be seen by and watched by. So please do give this video a like. Please do subscribe to Chris Cowlin's YouTube channel if you're not already. That's at Chris Cowlin. And if you need any more daily Tottenham Hotspur and transfer content, also take a look at the bottom left here, my YouTube handle at Barnaby Slater _. Give me a subscribe too. I'm nearly at 12,000 subscribers. Would love to get there over the next week or two before Christmas. Also, this is the plan of action, the itinerary for tonight. I will be doing the live watch along, obviously, but then straight afterwards, I'll be giving my live post-match reaction on this feed. Then I will be interviewing a number of Spurs fans from around the country and the world, in fact, and letting them give us their opinions on what happened in the game. And then at about 11 o'clock, Chris will be hosting the Spurs Chat podcast, as he always does, pretty much every night. It'll be from 11 p.m., like I said, and he'll be joined by Ricky Norwood, Harry Hennings, and Jim Brentar. So that will be on Chris's channel. Also, Chris is at the game tonight, and he will be regularly posting clips and crowd segments and things from the game on the YouTube channel. So keep an eye on that as well. And also, once again, we're absolutely delighted to announce, if you didn't know already, that the Spurs Chat podcast is a finalist at the Sport Podcast Awards. Let's have a look at that there. Yeah, the Spurs Chat podcast is nominated in the category Best Team Podcast, and you can vote for it by clicking in the description box below. Closing date is the 13th of January. And the winner is announced on the 30th of January. So please do give Chris and the Spurs Chat podcast boys your vote so we can try and take home the first trophy, hopefully of many, for Tottenham Hotspur this season. All right, guys, let's get into the team news. For me, I don't know what you think. Let me know in the comments. But for me, not many surprises when it came to the Spurs team, mainly on the basis that maybe Big Ange might have wanted to make some changes for a game like this if he had any options to, but because of the 10 injuries of players who would definitely have been involved in this game, he can't really. So it's Forster in goal, Pedro Porro and Jed Spence at left back, Udogie not risked with Liverpool on the horizon at the weekend. Then Radu Dragusin and Archie Gray once again coming in and playing at centre half. What a young talent that boy is. Bissouma comes in for Bergvall after his suspension. Pape Matar keeps his place, as does James Maddison in the kind of 8-10 role. Then Kulusevski on the right, Sonny on the left, and big Dom Solanke up front. The bench is Austin, Whiteman, Reguilon, Bergvall, Johnson, Lancashire, Dorrington, Olasese, and Hardy. So really, realistically, the only players you could see potentially coming on in this game, Bergvall and Johnson. Possibly Lancashire, you'd say, just because he started at Galatasaray, got a goal there, so he is kind of trusted. But the rest of them not particularly trusted. We'll go more into that bench in a minute. Let's go into the Manchester United team. They have made 5 changes. So basically it's 10 injuries versus 5 changes. Bayindir comes in goal for Anana. To be fair, I don't know a lot about that. If you know anything about Bayindir, let me know in the comments. Lindelof, Mazraoui, Martinez at the back. Fernandes, Højlund, Eriksen in midfield. Welcome back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Christian Eriksen. Yoro at the back, Dalot, Anthony and Ugarte in midfield. The bench, Maguire, Xerxes, Malacia, Diallo, Garnacho, Casemiro, Anana, Evans, and Mainu. So in terms of strength in depth, Manchester United certainly have the wood on Spurs. They're not suffering from an injury crisis like we are. But one of the benefits is, just looking for kind of positives, this Spurs team have played together now. So they've got some legs and rhythm into their legs in terms of playing with each other and knowing what each other are going to do on the pitch. Whereas this is a bit of a kind of half and half Manchester United team. So maybe that could work to our benefit. But certainly, like I said, the strength in depth is all with Manchester United. They're just in the tunnel at the moment. So let's talk a little bit more about that. Spence in for Udogie. It's good to see now that Big Ange Postecoglou does trust Jed Spence, but yeah, I'd rather him be playing on the right rather than left, but that's all we've got at the moment, really, in terms of Jed getting in the team. And he had a great performance, obviously, in that game at Southampton, so hopefully his confidence is really, really high. Basuma coming in for Bergvall. I think that was an interesting one. I said it in my videos this week. Basuma is more likely to make a mad mistake like he did against Chelsea, but Bergvall maybe is just a little too raw. Maybe that's the reality, just a little too raw to start in a big quarterfinal. But I thought he played well against Southampton. I really did. And then Deki Kulusevski again starting on the right, which I think is a good thing realistically. Brennan Johnson can come off the bench, but I think, like I said, that Manchester United will probably play relatively deep and therefore will be looking to try and open them up rather than getting space in behind. So that's why I think Kulusevski's probably started. I'm looking for a big performance from Pape Matar. He scored at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Manchester United before. He played great against Southampton. I want him to start to feel, Sar, like he is a proper mainstay of this side, like he's a proper one of the first names on the team sheet in that central midfield. And with Ugarte and Eriksen in central midfield for Manchester United, it's an opportunity for Sar and Basuma to utilize their athleticism to really try and Maddison, of course, but to really try and run that midfield. It'll be interesting to see how Archie Gray does against Rasmus Højlund. That will be a difficult one for him. Hopefully, Radu Dragusin really helps him out. And also, just a big night for James Maddison. In these big games, he's a big game player. I really want him to come at them today and really make some of those late, last-minute runs into the box. I mentioned earlier I'd talk a little bit more about the subs bench. No Timo Werner tonight, and no word particularly that I've seen as to why. I wonder if maybe that's the bounce back from Big Ange kind of really calling him out a few games ago. I'm just going to turn on some sound to see what the atmosphere at the stadium is like. Sounds relatively loud. I'll be really interested to see as well whether there's a lot of the anti-Daniel Levy pro Deki Kulusevski chant that's been doing the rounds. I've already seen on social media that some of the Spurs fans were singing it loudly within the bowels of the South Stand. So it'll be interesting to see if things start going badly, whether that's something that will resonate loudly through the designed for acoustics stadium. And of course, no Rashford for Manchester United. I hate to say it, my fear of this game, that it might go to penalties, and that might be difficult for us. But let me know in the comments what your predictions are. I'm just going to get into the comments a little bit. G Moore, United are on the ascendancy with the new manager honeymoon period. We're the underdogs here, but home advantage and crowd behind the lads. We could get the minimum 3 goals that we'll probably need. Good point. Guys, please do keep sending your comments in. Man United just getting in a huddle pre-kickoff, and the trumpeter is playing when the Spurs go marching in. And the fans getting into it. Alan Marshall says, I must admit Gray is proving me wrong. Just need to be stronger. In time, he will. Morgan 1882 says, home against a team that will try and play football. I think we'll win this 4-1. I'm not sure they will try and play football, Morgan. It'll be interesting to see. From what I've seen, like I said earlier, they play a lot of kind of quite deep Conte ball in that 3-4-3 position and then try and snap and hit us on the break. So let's see. Yeah, Alan Marshall rightly says if it's a draw after 90 minutes, it goes straight to pens. And Vernon Mortar says it would be great to get past Man U. Absolutely right. Guys, please do give this video a like if you haven't already. Let's get as many likes as we can. Make sure you're subscribed to Chris Cowlin's YouTube channel. And also, please give me a subscribe as well for daily Spurs content at Barnaby Slater _. Spurs are going to be kicking from right to left as we look at it in the first half, about to kick off. Christian Eriksen, one of my favourite players of of any of my time supporting Spurs. I hope this doesn't jinx it, but I don't think he is a central midfielder. He's a 10, but let's see. Anyway, we've kicked off and Man United get it straight back to their keeper and go long. Comes into midfield and Kulusevski gets it back to Jed Spence in the left-back position, who goes early into Sonny on the halfway line. back to Spence, and we go back to Forster. No, to Archie Gray, sorry. So United from early on look like they're not really pressing Bissouma when he gets on the ball, but Højlund is going to press Radu Dragusin when he's on the ball and try and make him uncomfortable. As Archie Gray comes out wide to Jed Spence, who has to go back, of course, because that is where we're lacking a little bit of balance on that left-hand side. It goes back to Archie Gray. They're not pressing Gray yet, but they are. Højlund is trying to press Dragusin as Dragusin plays it into Bissouma, takes a heavy touch, goes down the line. And that's a throw into Spurs as Porro tried to play it down the line to Kulusevski, but it was blocked. Oh, let me do the clock, sorry. Spurs in the midfield. And that should be the clock sorted out. Yes, it is. Spurs have just lost the ball in midfield, and Dom Solanke putting the pressure on Yoro at the back, but Yoro deals with that really well. And Bissouma wins the ball in central midfield, gets it to Son. It's a good chance for Spurs. Kulusevski's on Son's left. Oh, but too hard from Son, I think. Goes across the box, chance. Oh, and well defended actually by Christian Eriksen, surprisingly there. But that was a good chance for Spurs. Son was running centrally. And Man United now on the break, as I suspected they would be. But good bodies around the ball, and Bissouma does well there and wins a throw-in. So it was Bissouma who won the ball in central midfield, and Son is now running centrally, and Kulusevski's on his left, surprisingly. And Son plays him in, but there's a little too much of a heavy ball, and he tries to get the 1-2 back into Son, and it was just in ahead of him and well defended by Christian Eriksen. But a good start from Spurs there. Archie Gray under pressure, does well, finds Jed Spence, who's also under pressure. Gray has to go long, and I'm glad he did. Up to Dominic Solanke, whose touch is a little heavy, and he loses that. And Spurs putting the pressure on, making Lindelof go back to the keeper. Solanke pressing the keeper hard, and he has to go long and just whacks it out of play for a Spurs throw. And great pressure from Dominic Solanke early doors in this game. 2.5 minutes gone. And the anti-Daniel Levy chant is being sung already. And Pedro Porro goes back to Fraser Forster, who plays it first time to Archie Gray. Bissouma comes short for him, but he goes down the line to Spence. And Spence driving now. I like to see this from Jed Spence. Good. Oh, tries to beat his man. Sonny clears up for him. And just heading backwards to our own goal, but nobody presses Son, so he's able to turn. Maddison comes short for him, goes back to Son. Spurs just trying to move Manchester United about now. Eriksen pressing James Maddison. Comes to Archie Gray. Dragusin drops off him, and the ball comes across to him. And now, again, one more time, Højlund trying to press Dragusin into a mistake, but Bissouma gets it off him. He has a lot of space in here, Bissouma, already. I was talking in the opening, wasn't I, about hopefully Bissouma having the legs over Eriksen in midfield with Sarr, as Sonny finds Jed Spence. Oh, he beats his man down the line, Jed, and tries to go inside Yoro and fouls him. Tried to nutmeg him there, but good confidence from Jed Spence. Good to see. Let me know what you think in the comments about Jed Spence. It does make it, the way he played against Southampton, the way he started here, does make it a little bit of a mockery that he wasn't included in our Europa League squad, does it not? Anyway, Man United, they're going to take the free kick, which is just level with their 18-yard box long. The keeper's coming across. Gary Neville is on co-coms. Spurs keeping their line on the halfway line. And they go long over the top. Dragusin wins the header, and Sonny wins the second header. But United get it under control in central midfield. And Fernandez with a nice little flick into Højlund. This is good stuff for Man United, but Bissouma gets in. He's had a good start here, Bissouma. Won the ball back a couple of times already. Gray goes down the line, but that was a bit of a dangerous ball towards Maddison. Spence under pressure, facing his own goal. And once again, Gray goes down the line. hoping to get Solanke to hold it up, but he's not able to. I'm afraid I'm buffering a bit at the moment, but Man United have the throw in. Ball's in midfield with Pape Matasai, flicks it over Fernandez towards Porro, who gets a kick in the face. Yeah, it's just a little knee to the side of the head of Fernandez, and I'm pretty sure there's no VAR in this game because there's no VAR till the semi-finals. It's a long ball from Spurs, and Solanke's putting Man United under a bit of pressure here, and Yoro has to clear it. Maddison. To Gray. Back to Maddison. We're 6.5 minutes in. Apologies, guys, if I'm on a bit of a delay. I'm getting a bit of buffering, but it's not too bad at the moment. Fingers crossed that remains. Bissouma now plays it across. I wouldn't say this is a high-tempo start from either team, but that's kind of what I'd expect with the way, like I said, United like to, under Amorim, sit quite deep. Oh, tell you what. Spurs are in now. Kulusevski to Maddison. Oh, he tries to find Son outside him, but couldn't get the ball through the United player. Now United on the break through Christian Eriksen. Spence chasing him. And that's good from Spence. And Eriksen finds Højlund. Steps over it, but a good little tackle from Porro stops their momentum. But Eriksen now outside the box. He might fancy a dig here, but he can't get it out. Lays it outside to Mazraoui. And Mazraoui has to come back because Son is there, and so is Maddison. That was good getting bodies back from Spurs. But that's where United are going to be dangerous on the break. And Spurs had a decent little chance there to get into the United box, but in the end, we couldn't get the ball across to Sonny. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think of Christian Eriksen. He was just a delightful number 10 for us. Really was. And Sky cutting to Daniel Levy, presumably because the anti-Levy chant is being done. Oh, good play there from Sarr in midfield, just trying to find Solanke down the line, but couldn't. 8 minutes gone. No clear-cut chances as yet, but it's a decent game. I wouldn't say that the fans are making it intimidating, but Spurs are putting the big press on their keeper, and he's forced into a ball quite dangerous down the line to Yoro. Yoro goes line again, and there's Spence. But United have played this out well, but actually Archie Gray has done well to nick in ahead of Anthony. He's going to have to go back to Forster, I would have thought. And Højlund wants a piece of Forster. Forster plays a good ball into Bissouma, who gets it out wide to Dragusin. And Dragusin goes lofted over the halfway line, kicks it straight out. He's just trying to chip it over for Kulusevski there. United taking the throw quickly. Of course, Man United did win at the Etihad at the weekend. A real smash and grab there in a game where neither team were really excellent. Mazraoui coming inside now and plays it nicely to Eriksen, who wants the big diag, which Spurs are always at danger of. And it's a beautiful ball from Eriksen. Spurs are in trouble here. It's 3-on-3. It's a heavy touch, though. And Porro does well to get in ahead of Dalot. Good defending from Porro. First corner of the game. Eriksen's going to play the in-swinger. It's a lot of argy-bargy in the middle as Spurs try and play man-to-man. It comes into the near post, and Forster does well, but it's up in the air here. Someone's going to have to be brave and win the header. And that is a goal kick to Spurs. Forster got his fists on the first ball at the near post, which he did pretty well, but it just went high. And then there was a chance on the background. It actually looks like it was Bissouma just ahead of Forster's fists. And Martinez ends up trying to dink it back in. Meanwhile, while that replay has been and gone, the ball came all the way back to United's keeper. And now they're playing it around their back line, and he plays a good little ball round the corner into Eriksson, whose touch is heavy, and Basuma fouls him. And Eriksson's not very happy with that. Madders helps Eriksson out. 10 minutes gone. Feels a bit like both teams are kind of sizing each other up at the moment as Eriksson takes the ball, the free kick quickly to Yoro. And United playing some good patterns here down the line. And that's a good tackle in there from Archie Gray on Anthony. Amorim working hard outside his technical area. Very Mikel Arteta-like when it comes to that. United go backwards to their keeper. And Solanke just going to put the press on him on the wrong side. The keeper looks like a decent distributor of the ball, sorry. Big win in midfield there from Jed Spence, does well. And Basuma and Son. But Maddison, not a great touch from him. Oh, and now United have got space. This is where the dangerous Højlund could be in here. Højlund is in. Dragoshin does all right. But then, yes, Dragoshin twice does okay there. And 3 times and wins the ball on the side. Well done, Radu Dragoshin. And then plays a horrible pass into midfield. And Ugarte picked it up very easily. I don't know what Dragoshin was trying there, but that was important defending from him because Højlund was in. It looked like he was in. United have played another diagonal. They're in on the right now with Eriksson. United have started this game well. And Archie Gray goes through Anthony there, takes everything, and it's a throw into Man United. He's just trying to show Anthony that he's around at the moment. But this is where the danger is for United. Bruno Fernandes got it. Played Højlund through. His touch wasn't great, and Dragoshin got his body in the way. As United play yet another big cross-field ball. And Fernandes is in down the line there. He's going to cross it first time, and it's a great cross first time, but it goes off for a goal kick. Spurs go long down the line, looking for Solanke. Oh, and it's picked up beautifully from Sarr. Now, can he find Sonny? He does well there, Sarr. And Sonny is now going into the box on the left-hand side. He's going to try and bend it into the top corner, and it's wide. He wants a corner there, Sonny. And Gary Neville saying it's definitely a corner. Yeah, it's definitely a corner. It's high and wide. Or maybe it wasn't. Anyway, United playing it already. They're getting their patterns well. You can see the difference. You can see some kind of style now, which you couldn't really under Ten Hag. Sarr wins that header in midfield into Basuma, who takes it down nicely. Gives it to Sarr. Beautiful stuff between them both. Sonny's in on the left here. Another chance here for Sonny. But his touch is heavy, and that's a shame. Comes to Sarr outside the box, and his touch is heavy. And now Bruno makes a better touch, but brilliant from Basuma blocking it out. And Maddison has it and wins a great free kick there. Good stuff from Pape Maddison, Yves Basuma, and James Maddison. And Spurs have a free kick about 15 yards outside the box. Chance for Spurs to put a ball into the box now. United holding their line on the 18-yard box. Dragoshin taking up a position. It's on the left-hand, kind of inside left-hand channel. Dragoshin is the furthest away towards the back stick. Yeah, Madders is thinking about trying to get it straight to Sonny on the left, and he does that, and that's a good decision, I think. Now, Sonny could maybe get a cross in. That's what I'd do. He doesn't. He goes to Basuma, who's under pressure here, He does well. Finds Porro, who wants a dig. Has a dig. Oh, and it's saved well, but chance for Solanke on the rebound. Goal! 1-0 Spurs. Dominic Solanke. Let's hope he's not offside. Porro had the shot from outside the box. Let's see what happened there. Is he offside from the shot? That's all we got to check. So it's the free kick. Madders plays it to Son. He's onside. Then Sonny plays it inside to Basuma, who under pressure does really well to find Porro. So Porro now outside the box. Solanke is definitely onside. It's going to be a goal, and it's a beautiful finish on the half volley from Solanke. What Solanke did really well was when Porro had the shot, he was on the 18-yard line, and one of United defenders' foot was just a yard behind it. Oh, and actually, there's no VAR anyway, so I could have properly celebrated. Come on, you Spurs. I find it hard to celebrate goals these days because of VAR, but there is no VAR. Beautiful finish on the half volley as it bounced off the keeper from Solanke, and he gives it the full psh. And that's what Tottenham needed to bring Manchester United out a little bit. I'm sure they'll continue to sit deep for the moment and try and hit us on the break, but at some point, if we're still leading, they will have to. As Porro clears a long ball from the keeper over the top. 15 minutes gone, 1-0 Spurs. Dominic Solanke, beautiful finish. And they cut to Onana on the bench because the goalkeeper, Gary Neville, saying he should have got that save a bit further wide, but it came through bodies. That's all I'd say. As United try and drop one over the top, and Højlund's in a good position now, running down the right. Keeps the ball on. He's out wide. They're calling for throw-in, but it's not. Højlund coming into his left side, and it goes to Anthony, who brings it backwards. Oh, but Eriksen's made him a good run down the line. Don't foul him, Jed. Well done. And Eriksen comes back to Anthony. And well done, Yves Bissouma. Again, gets an important foot in, and that's a throw to Man United. Please do get your comments in, guys, and make sure you like this video if you haven't already. Come on, you Spurs. Also, make sure you're subscribing to Chris's YouTube channel, @ChrisCowlin. United are just popping it about quite nicely. They have been all game, to be fair. That's not a foul. Yeah, they've tried to win a foul on the left arm. The ref has fallen for it, Anthony. It just definitely wasn't. And even Ange has come out of his technical area, which you don't see very often, to bemoan that. But United take the free kick quickly. Solanke and Kulusevski pressing Martinez. United with a good ball into central midfield through Eriksen. And that's a beautiful first-time ball from Eriksen. They're in down the left-hand side here. Dragusin's got to stop the cross. And it goes again all the way through for a throw-in. But again, United looking dangerous getting in on the left-hand side. And it's Eriksen pulling the strings. Just showing Porro's shot here. Yeah, it comes through bodies and it moves late. I feel sorry for the keeper a bit. Yeah, it's quite central, the first shot. "17 minutes gone. Jed Spence with the throw-in back in his own by the corner in the left-back position. And he goes long with it down the line. Solanke gets it to Sonny, and that's another Spurs throw. They did well down the line there. It's Dominic Solanke's 8th goal of the season. Spence goes to Sarr, who goes back to Archie Gray, who does well down the line there, Gray, and he's pushed a little bit. And Sarr wins it in midfield, and he drives. Oh, and he just loses it to Agati, but that's okay. It comes back to Forster, who can pick that up. He wanted to go early to Porro, but instead he comes the other way to Archie Gray. Spence is near him, and he goes to Spence, who gives it back, just trying to pull Anthony around. He's playing on the right-hand side of the forward line for Man United. As Archie Gray goes across to Dragusin, and Højlund once again trying to cut off his route back to Archie Gray. He goes to Pedro Porro, tries to turn it down the line, does well to Kulusevski. And Kulusevski is undoubtedly fouled there, but the ref doesn't give it. And now Kulusevski's going to foul someone because he's annoyed about it. He's pressing very hard here, Decky, and Martinez turns away from him well. That was definitely a foul on Kulusevski, I think. United popping the ball about well. Martinez plays a big long ball back across his back line to Yoro, who comes out wide to Mazraoui. It's blocked well by Spence, but Mazraoui gets lucky. Good challenge there from Dragusin and one from Jed Spence as well. But the ref has given a free kick for that. And Spence is annoyed, and rightly so, because there was one on Kulusevski on the other side that wasn't given. And Eriksen is already looking up. He wants a big old diag, but they cut instead to the crowd where Pat Jennings is watching, the ex-Tottenham Hotspur legendary goalkeeper. But as much as I like seeing Pat Jennings, I'd rather see the game. And United have it now, playing the ball across their back line again. Again, Solanke putting the press on. And Kulusevski then pressing Martinez, who drops one over the top. And that's a good ball to Dalot, who's very high and wide there. Comes inside, gets away from two players, and crosses it all the way to his other wing-back, Mazraoui. He's going to look to get an early cross in. No, he doesn't. He comes back. But it's a good run there from Anthony. Archie Gray does really well, uses his strength. And Jed Spence helps him out and goes back to Forster, who, with his left foot, skies it. But Solanke's getting his body in the way. Yoro does well. And Man United win it back again. Son does really well there. Oh, and tries to play a paradise ball inside, and it's picked up by Eriksson. I think Son could have gone back to his defenders there, and United pick it up again. United looking a bit more assured on the ball, I'd say, as they come across to Dalot and back to Martinez. And then back to Lindelof. Sonny on your Spurs just a little bit late on their press at the moment as United go straight down the middle over the top, and it's Porro against Bruno Fernandes. Porro doing well, really well. Really great defending from Porro there. And Spurs are on the break here a little bit with Sarr, but he's slowed it up. And Madder's just coming deep there and giving Basuma an option. And Basuma gave it to Sarr, who goes back to Gray. And it comes to Basuma again, who's just a little slow on the ball. And that has allowed United to press, and it's come back to Forster. And he's going to have to go long, I think. He doesn't. He goes to Gray down the line. He hasn't got a lot on here, Gray. He goes inside to Basuma, who turns, gets it on the half turn, and tries to dink it into midfield. But that is a very dangerous, arguably stupid ball from Yves Basuma. And United have picked it up. And now United are in down the left. Yep, they're in down left. Big chance United here. Comes to Eriksson. It's blocked on the line by Basuma. Does really well. Right in front of his keeper. But that was his first mistake. Basuma. And Spence does really well to win a free kick on the left. The ball, the shot came from Eriksson on his left foot first time, just on the edge of the box. And Basuma was kind of standing right in front of Fraser Forster. So I think Forster would have probably made the save, but Basuma was there. But don't forget, Basuma was the one who kind of made that chance happen in the first place by trying to dink it over the top of midfield, or into central midfield, over the top of their forward line, and it was easily picked off. Spurs go with a longer ball there into midfield. Maddison challenging for it. Does well. Sonny getting pushed. Solanke working hard, but he's beaten to it there, Solanke, by Ugarte, who started this game quite well. He goes back to the keeper. Sonny pressing the keeper, and the keeper plays a lovely first-time ball. Good distributor of the ball, this keeper. And they're in down the left here now. And Sarr is chasing Fernandes. Fernandes is the big danger man here. And Sarr fouls Fernandes. Oh, and he's booked. How is that a booking? It is a foul, but it's not really a booking. He's just trying to nick the ball from the side of Fernandes. It was a beautiful first-time pass by the keeper, who's a really good distributor, and Fernandes was in down the left. Oh, and now Sarr is not allowed to play in the next leg of the semi-final, the next round of the semi-final, first leg, if Spurs get that. But this is a dangerous free kick for Manchester United. It's on the corner, just next to the corner of the 18-yard box on the left. Spurs setting up their defensive line just south of the penalty spot, just around the penalty spot. Sarr and Fernandes shake hands. But this will be a good opportunity for Eriksson to whip it in towards the far post. And he'll want one to go all the way in or get someone to head it. He puts too much on it, Eriksson, and it goes over the bar. Spurs have the ball down already. Archie Gray does well to find Jed Spence on the left. Now drive, Jed. You've got yards in front of you. He doesn't. He comes back. Thought he could have driven at Christian Eriksen there, Jed Spence, because he'll have him all day in terms of pace. Gray comes across to Dragusin, and once again, stopping his easy ball back. And that's a poor ball from Dragusin into midfield. And Basuma with a weird little back heel flick. It was lovely to look at, but a bit of a dangerous one, Basuma, as ever. And United play it nicely. But Jed Spence does beautifully, and that's a free kick. Jed Spence did brilliantly there, and he's won a booking as well. Brilliant from Jed Spence. He had the press on Mazraoui, and as the ball comes to Mazraoui, Spence takes the risk, nicks it in front of him, and gets him booked. And this is a good opportunity for a free kick cross for Spurs. Dragishin's up. Maddison standing over it. United making their defensive line around the 17-yard line. They've cut to Amorim, who looks a little bit worried about it. Please get your comments in, guys. Okay, we've gone short with the free kick to Sonny. Sonny goes inside to Decky, who does brilliantly. Real chance for Decky. And it's saved. He went near post. He should have gone far post there, Decky. Lovely football from Spurs, though. And Spurs have won it back on the sideline. Brilliant turn from Decky. Rolls his man. He's got to go across the keeper there. That's a shame. If he could have gone near post. Spence does really well to keep the ball for Spurs. Finds it to Dragishin, who gives it to Gray, gives it to Spence. Good stuff on the left-hand side from Spurs. Oh, and Spence tries to go down the line. He finds Son, though. And Kulusevski is in here on the left-hand side, and Solanke's in the middle. Oh, he has to turn away onto his wrong side, though. Now, what can you find here, Decky? Has to turn away again. He's keeping the ball, though, Decky. Oh, and then he plays a bad one, but Basuma's going to help him out, I think, and does. And he finds it back to Archie Gray, and the crowd appreciate that. Archie Gray into Pape Matar. Bit of a heavy first touch, as is his kind of usual way. Sarr goes to Dragishin, who doesn't want to take a risk and goes back to Forster. Forster has Gray as an option and finds him. And Maddison is giving him an option down the line here. Maddison takes it on the half turn beautifully and finds Jed Spence inside. Now, Jed drive. He doesn't drive forward with it, and he could have done. Instead, he finds Porro inverted. That slows it up a little bit. And that, yeah, Spence there. We've lost the ball now. And now United are in down the left. Big tackle from Sarr, considering he's been booked. Very fortunate. He's got to be careful there, Pape Matar. But I thought Jed Spence had a real chance to drive down the middle of the pitch there, and he didn't. And as a result, we slowed down the possibility of a good transition. But anyway, Spurs have the ball now with Maddison. He's looking for options. He's in his own half. He finds it inside. Heavy touch from Spurs, and we've lost the ball in central midfield because of Porro there. And United are in down the left with Bruno. Not in, but they've got the ball back, sorry. 27 minutes gone. Tottenham 1, Man United 0. Interesting game. This quite tactical. United now have the ball with Mazraoui on the right. They were going to go for a cross, but he cuts inside narrow again and goes back to Yoro. Solanke puts the press on Lindelof, but Martinez then finds Dallo quite easily. He goes for the chip over the top, and this is Højlund against Archie Gray. Gray's all over him, but Højlund holds it up. United keep it well with Højlund, but going backwards at the moment, back towards the central midfield. Martinez plays a good ball in between the lines, though, to Bruno. And they're on the left now with Dallo. Looking to get a dink into the box, trying to get a handball, but it's cleared by Basuma. And United pick it up again. And this is where I say this is United kind of playing Conte ball. It feels very similar to Conte. Basuma does really well there and wins it for Jed Spence, who goes backwards to Archie Gray. Anthony puts the press on, and Sarr's in a difficult position here. Sarr finds Spence down the line. He's totally on his own here, Jed Spence. He's going the wrong way, frankly. He backheels it to Gray. Spurs in a whole world of their own trouble of their own making there, and they've cleared it out, and it comes to Dallo on the left. Madness from Spurs. Dallo tries to dink it, and now Dragishin clears it. And United pick it back up with Martinez. They're recycling the ball well, United, at the moment. Spurs a little bit deep and on their heels. And they go to the left with Fernandez. This is where the danger is. Kulusevski was helping him out. Helping his man out. And United go back towards the halfway line again and recycle. Gary Neville saying how United have control of this game. You'd probably say that's right. They're popping it about nicely, and they've got some good shapes. And Mazraoui now slightly inverted, and he goes for the big diag over Porro's head. United in the box now on the left-hand side. This is where they've looked most dangerous. Eriksen's free to cut it back, and now it comes to Anthony, and great block from Archie Gray. Blocks the... And it goes out for a Spurs goal kick. Dragishin plays it nicely into midfield. I think that's Maddison. First time to Kulusevski. Oh, he does beautifully on the half turn. Sells Dallo completely and gets it to Basuma. Well played, Deki Kulusevski. Basuma now in central midfield. Jed Spence is on his left. Surely it'll go to him. It does. Sonny is on Spence's left on the touchline. Spence makes a secondary run down the line, and it's a good run from Madders, and he's disappointed and frustrated that he didn't get the ball off Sonny there. But Spurs keep it with Sarr and Bissouma, and it's walking pace. And Eriksson now putting the press on Archie Gray, and it goes back to Fraser Forster. Forster goes to Dragoshin, who goes to Pedro Porro, takes it on the half turn, gives it to Bissouma. Nice stuff in central midfield from Spurs. Kulusevski fouled. And then Eriksson, that should be a booking on Eriksson for delaying the game, but the ref bottles it. Spurs had a chance for a transition there, but Eriksson stopped it as a professional foul that you'd want your team to make, but not when it's against you. Anyway, Spence into Maddison, wants an option from Bissouma, doesn't have it, so goes backwards. Archie Gray. Spurs are pressing the first ball into central midfield. Bissouma gets out though, Jed Spence on the left, and he finds a good ball into Madders, and Son gets away from him. Lovely stuff in midfield from Spurs between Madders, Son and Solanke. Now Son's a little bit on his own, so he goes to the right into Pedro Porro, who will surely go to Kulusevski, who might, I'm sure, cut it onto his left and try and cross it towards Solanke. No, he doesn't. He wants to have a dig. Now it goes, the cross goes in, and it was a little late, and Man United clear. And Højlund holding that up pretty well. Bissouma gets an important little touch in there. Oh, lovely from Pape Matar, and a good on the half turn from Decky. Oh, who beats his man wonderfully, Dalot. Kulusevski getting towards the byline here, but good strength from Dalot. Decky just didn't have the pace, and Dalot clears down the line. It's a good ball up to Fernandez. And Sarr does beautifully. Gets it back to Porro. Well done, Spurs, on the right-hand side there. Good start to this game from both Sarr and Bissouma, although Sarr has been booked. And since he was booked, he's done one slide-in tackle as well, which looked a little bit worrying. But anyway, Spurs on the ball. Bissouma being pressed. Goes across to Archie Gray. Jed Spence is on his left. And a willing receiver of the ball goes back to Archie Gray. Into Bissouma. Fans getting behind Spurs now. Gray to Spence. He goes back to Archie Gray, just trying to bring United out of their shape here. Maddison gets it. He's looking to do something, but has to go back because United block his pass avenues. United kind of pressing Spurs further and further back as Maddison tries to break out of it and does, and plays a beautiful ball into Porro. His first touch is magnificent. Breaking down the middle. He's trying to play Sonny in. Oh, and beautiful football from Spurs, but there was just too much on the ball, and it goes through to the goalkeeper just on the edge of his box. Lovely stuff through central midfield from Spurs, though. United play it short. Yoro now to Mazraoui on the right, who fronts up Spence, who gets a little block on it, and Madders wins it. Well done. Madders wins from the block. Madders plays it in. Lovely stuff from Spurs. Kulusevski and Son, beautiful. And he's fouled from behind there, Son, for sure. But it's not given. And they're in now, Spurs. Decky Kulusevski cuts back. Oh, he's got no options. Oh, and it's a corner. Nearly an own goal. Oh, could so easily have been an own goal. And the fans getting behind Spurs now as we get a corner. Kulusevski's final cross ball was through the legs, and Ugarte is stretching just wide. Oof, and Ange, head in hands, applauding his players. Here comes the corner. It's going to be an in-swinger. Archie Gray is forward. Sonny taking this corner. Madders is near the keeper, shouting at some of his players to be in a different position. Yeah, Decky gets closer now. Sonny, 2 hands in the air. Wonder what that means. It's going to be an in-swinger. And the ref calls it back for some hustling in the box between attackers and defenders. Who's he going to talk to here? He's talking to Højlund, who is he's an intense player, isn't he, Højlund? He's clearly trying to mark Dom Solanke pretty tightly. We're into the 35th minute. Spurs 1, Man United 0. But United playing well, to be fair. And here comes the corner from Sonny. This time he goes one arm in the air. So has he changed his mind, or does it just mean nothing? Here it comes. Whipped to the near post. Oh, and it's cleared the near post. Dragoshin gets another little touch on it. Comes to Solanke, turns really well and goes on the floor looking for a penalty, but I don't think it is. He was just blocked more than anything else. United go down the line, but Bissouma once again does well and finds Sarr, who's been pressed, but he does really well to find Porro now. Breaking towards the box. He might have a dig here again, Porro. And that goes wide, very wide. Oh, well blocked from Jed Spence there on the left, and we've won the ball back. Basuma helping him out. Does well, Basuma, and gets in down the left. He's running towards the byline now, Bis. Can he get a good cross? Tries to cut back to Son. He's in space. Oh, and his shot is blocked, Sonny, unfortunately. And United clear it. And a big win from Dragishin on Højlund. There you go. Tell him you're there. And Højlund hasn't even got up yet as Sarr brings it forward from midfield and goes to Porro on the right back. Goes back to Sarr. That's it. I love that from Dragishin. A big aerial win. Took some of the body out as well. But Basuma tries to play a ball through the lines. It's easily picked off and United are in down the left. It's one-on-one here with Bruno Fernandes. This has been the danger all game. But in the end, Sarr got in a good body position and the cross from Bruno was cleared. But Fernandes has it back again. And now he gets another cross in. Basuma challenges for it. Solanke's back there. Comes to United on the edge of the box. They're going to get it out wide right. Oh, they know. They go central. And Lindelof fancies the shot. But United in now. Bruno outside the box. Shoots wide. Gary Neville talking about how Bruno Fernandes has got a lot of space on the left and whether it's Sarr or Porro has to deal with him. Jed Spence has the ball now. Archie Gray has to turn away. Might have to go long here. Spurs in trouble again in their own corner. Spence totally on his own here with two players. And they find a way out, Spurs, beautifully. And now Spence is running away. Finds it into Solanke, who tries to find Sonny. But Yoro did well, to be fair. Spurs taking some risks, but nearly breaking the press. 37 minutes gone. United are finding gaps. And Eriksson, oh, he wanted the big diag again, but he doesn't do it this time. Oh, and Yoro fancied the big diag as well because Dallow's free over there, but instead they come across to Martinez, who will now find Dallow. And that's where Porro goes. And Fernandes goes down the line for him. United now playing it through central midfield. Eriksson, first time back to Yoro. Looks like a decent player, to be fair. And Yoro's going for the big diag this time. And United have so many men coming forward. It's scary. And Højlund has a shot on the volley that's wide. I guess because Gary Neville's a right back himself, he's absolutely obsessed with how much space they've got on the left that they do. And Maddison comes through midfield and gets fouled from behind. That should be a booking, but goes to Sonny. And Spurs do have some players forward. Decky, it's a good run inside from Solanke, but cleared by Martinez, who followed him. That should be a booking. That should be a booking. The ref has to book Ugarte here. I'm sorry. And he's bottled it. And the fans are booing him. That's a bottle job from the ref there. He was so late on Maddison. Let's hope that doesn't come back to bite us later. United fans being loud, as their away fans always are. Jed Spence finds Basuma, who's going to go back. Does well. Nice little ball from Basuma to Dragishin, who finds Porro's being pressed. Needs options. Goes back to Dragishin, who plays a nice ball into Solanke, holds it up beautifully. Back to goal. Goes to Basuma, who does well to dummy Anthony and play a good ball out to Son. Jed Spence made a good run for him inside. Son plays a beautiful ball through to Madders, who just falls over, unfortunately. Sarr picks it up. He literally just got his stud caught in the ground when he was in good position there, Madders. Anyway, Son on the left now. Finds Sarr. Basuma is with him, but instead he goes all the way to Porro. Is he going to dink it to the far post, Porro? Yes, he is. Oh, and actually it's Lindelof who gets an important header, but Eriksson can only find Sarr, who finds Jed Spence in a good position. Sonny's outside him. Spence turns, goes back to Sarr, who goes to Basuma, who's being pressed. And he finds Sarr again. Spurs just knocking it about. Madder's in a good position here. His touch was heavy, but he finds Decky, who again is just trying to break through. Sarr to Sonny. Just loads of bodies here. But Spurs... Oh, and Sonny tries to find a through ball into Decky, but there's too much on it, and it would have been offside anyway. Loads of bodies narrow there. Spurs just trying to find a chance to get a shot, but too many bodies in the way for Man United. Please do press like on this video on YouTube if you haven't already, guys. Let's get it seen by as many Spurs fans as possible. Long ball from United. Dragishin challenges for it. And then Pape Matsar with the second ball does well. Gets it into central midfield. And Maddison His touch is heavy, though. And United win it. And Højlund does well now. And now Dalot is free on the left, and he will find him, I'm sure, eventually, Højlund. And he does. And United are in the box now with Dalot. They go back to Bruno, plays with the outside of the boot. A beautiful cross just ahead of Eriksen at the back post. Bruno Fernandes really playing well today. And Archie Gray gets the ball. Gives it to Dragosine, who goes down the line to Porro. Shapes away. And he's in a bit of trouble here, Porro, facing his own goal. Has to go to the line. And tries to find Kulusevski, but it's won by Manchester United. And they go into centre midfield with Ugarte to Yoro. To Mazraoui. He's got Anthony outside him. Obviously, all left foot Anthony. And goes backwards to Yoro, who wants the big diag, but doesn't. So comes across to Lindelof. And Martinez has it now. Back to Lindelof on the halfway line now. To the right-hand side of their back three to Yoro. Plays a good ball into Mazraoui, who was inverted and had loads of space. He finds Anthony. And Anthony goes for the big diag. And there's loads of space on the left-hand side now with Dalot. He knocks it first time to Bruno. And they've got runners going forward. It's Martinez who's run from the outside. And they're in at the back post here. And he couldn't get anything on it, Mazraoui. And Spurs head it away for a corner. And that was like watching Conte ball there, where the outside centre-half Martinez made a last-minute run into the box, and that confused the Spurs defenders. And in the end, they got their cross to the far post towards Mazraoui, but he couldn't get enough on it. And Archie Gray heads it out for a corner, and Eriksen will take this corner. Sonny having to mark. It's an outswing. It's not an outswing. In fact, he just dinks it all the way to the back stick. And Spence clears it there for another corner. Need to get the Spurs fans loud again in this game. Come on, this is a huge game for Spurs. Come on, there's a little bit of a lull in the atmosphere. Guys, do get your questions in the comments. I'll be going through those questions during half-time, but this is another corner for Man United. This time it's an in-swinger from Eriksen. It's another deep one to Lindelof, who gets there first. Spence gets the second ball, but no, Martinez does well, dinks it to the far post, and that's going to be a goal kick for Spurs. Both those corners looked like they'd gone too far, but actually United had a man on both who got the first header at the back post. They're just showing Sergio Reguilon on the Spurs bench. Of course, he was on loan at Man United last season. He's not played under Ange Postecoglou. I guess if anything were to happen to Jed Spence in this game, Reguilon would probably come on, I guess. 43.5 minutes gone. And Lindelof has gone down for United, so that's why there's a little bit of a break in play. They do have Harry Maguire on the bench. My take so far on this game, tactical. United popping it about well. Oh, it's Johnny Evans who's going to come on before Maguire. Okay. United popped it about well. They look dangerous when they're in and around our box. But Spurs, on the transition especially, really look like they're getting some good positions as well. Amorim just having a word with Ugarte on the sidelines. The big danger for Spurs is always down the left-hand side, really, where Bruno's pulling out into that half space. He's got Diego Dalot outside him. And even Lisandro Martinez, just a minute ago, made his first run from the outside left centre-half role, making a break into the box. And that confused the Spurs defenders, who didn't really take note of the cross then to the back stick on the right, which is where the half chance was. But United weren't able to do anything with it. Just getting into the last minute of this half now. Lindelof is limping off injured as I drop my phone, embarrassingly. Surprised he's gone with Evans before. Oh, yes. Apologies, guys. I thought the score line would do it on its own. I've not got it on manual score, so that's confusing, but I will do the score now. There we go. Apologies. Not having done the score line before, but the tech is supposed to do it itself, but it hasn't. Anyway, apologies. We are, of course, winning. 2 minutes added time at the end of this half. I wonder if there'll be a little bit more than that after that injury there. As Forster goes long with his kick up towards Big Dom Solanke. Gets a good flick on. Sonny pressuring Mazraoui, but he goes long, Mazraoui. And Dragusin again gets in ahead of Højlund. Eriksson with the header on, and Dragusin uses his strength once more, and it bounces down to Anthony. And the ref says no foul on Anthony there. Jed Spence plays a first-time ball into Solanke, who loses it. Don't foul him, Dom. And James Maddison does well there to block Anthony getting a run down the line. Eriksson takes the throw in quickly back to Yoro. They're on the halfway line again, Man United. And again, opening up their back three. So it comes to Lisandro. And Dallo made a little run in behind there that Lisandro was tempted to go for, but in the end he cuts back, and we're back on the right-hand side with Mazraoui. And Sonny does well there. Gets it out for throw-in, but United get it. And Yoro wants to play the big diag himself, but instead goes to the right with Mazraoui. Anthony comes inside for him. Oh, and that's really good play from Anthony. And Bissouma slides in, but with his slide, gets his pass out straight to a United player. And they're in down the left now again with Dallo. Getting towards the byline. It's a good cutback. Eriksson chance. Good block again from Archie Gray. Exactly the same as happened earlier in the half. Archie Gray being brave in front of his goalkeeper. First time earlier in the half got his head on it, and this time got his foot on it. Eriksson, you have to say, didn't get hold of his first time shot. It was a good chance. United trying to play the ball down the half space there, but it's cut out by Kulusevski. Plays it to Solanke, who does well, but then is out-muscled in midfield by Ugarte, and that's a good shot. It's a good little battle there. And United have won it back with Eriksson, who goes to the left to Bruno in the half space. Dallo runs outside him. Now they come to the right with Yoro. Spurs fans are whistling for the half, but United still have it with Mazraoui on the right. And Spurs get a foot in. And that is half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1. Manchester United 0. They're just showing that. It was good play from Archie Gray there. The ball came to Christian Eriksen on the edge of the box, left foot. He didn't properly get hold of it, but Archie Gray didn't get out the way and got his body in the way. And that's what you need to do as a centre-half. You'd have to put that down as a good half for Tottenham Hotspur. United are playing well, but the way I would look at this is Manchester United have made 5 changes, so they have a bit of a half-and-half team for this Carabao Cup game, but Tottenham Hotspur have 10 players who would be involved in the first team out injured. So the fact that we're winning this game, Dominic Solanke with the goal after a long shot from Porro was palmed out by the keeper. Very good by Spurs. For me, just like I said at the top of the show, it would not surprise me at all if this ended up a draw after 90 minutes and goes straight to penalties. And that's why I think the next goal in this game is all important, because if Spurs could get the next goal, United would have to properly come out at us and take more risks. And they're popping it about well. They're playing nicely, and Spurs are playing a little bit of a kind of transitional game. But yeah, if we can get the next goal, United will probably have to come out at us. Sorry. And this, I may be hexing this. This may come back to haunt me, but I think if Spurs went 2-0 up against United, it doesn't feel like the same kind of game as Chelsea, where Chelsea just had so much space in central midfield against us from the start of that game. In this game, the space for Man United is on the left, which is obviously still dangerous, but not as dangerous. Anyway, let's go back through, before I get into the comments, guys, I'll go back through what happened in that first half. In the first minute, a lovely little move between Son and Decky Kulusevski on the left. They tried to do kind of a long-range 1-2, and in the end, Kulusevski's cross just in the box on the floor was just a little bit ahead of Son Heung-min. He couldn't get a foot on it. I've written that in 4th minute, Yves Bissouma had already made 2 important interceptions. He looks really up for this, Yves Bissouma, today, but still, the thing that I keep talking about in my videos with Yves Bissouma and on these watch-alongs, he does the hard stuff so well, but quite often the easy stuff, when it just takes a little pass, or when he's doing a sliding tackle and he gets a foot on it, he manages to find a way to get that foot, that little pass, that little ball into Man United's feet. So he's doing okay. He's intercepting it well. He's reading the game well, but just needs to be careful that he keeps his concentration. Good chance in the 7th minute to get Sonny in on the left, but the final ball was blocked. Sonny would have been in, but good defending from Manchester United. Certainly the left-hand side for Spurs, as well as for Manchester United, as where we've been pretty dangerous as well. 9th minute, Porro did really well to get ahead of Diego Dallo to put the ball out for a corner. That was after an amazing diagonal from Christian Eriksen, who's rolling back the years tonight. He's having a really good game. passing it left and right, winning some important balls in midfield. And actually, Pedro Porro did so well because otherwise Dalot would have been in. In the 11th minute, again, important defending twice from Radu Dragusin to stop Rasmus Højlund, who would have been in one-on-one had Dragusin not got his body position in the right place, and used his strength as well. And that has been something that Dragusin's been doing all half. He's been winning the aerial duels against Højlund. He's been getting a foot in where he can, taking everything when he can, showing Højlund he's in a real battle. 12th minute, good area for Bruno. A cross-come shot to the far post that went for a goal kick. Again, some of the early signs that United were looking so strong in that inside left position. And then straight away, Sonny got the ball on the inside right position and did what Sonny does, tried to cut it into the top left-hand corner. And it looked like it was deflected as it went high and wide, but no corner was given. Like I said, both Bissouma and Sarr have been intercepting the ball nicely in central midfield, and it was in the 14th minute that Tottenham took the lead. 1-0. Porro has a shot from outside the box. It moves a little bit. It comes through bodies, and the keeper can only palm it out a little bit to the left, the inside right position, as Dominic Solanke was looking at it, and he takes it beautifully on the half volley. First time in off the inside post. That is Dom Solanke's 8th goal of the season. Not a huge amount of goals, but we just don't make him that many chances. But his hold-up play, once again in today's game so far, has been outstanding. 17th minute, I've written that United looking dangerous on the left and get another dangerous cross in. They've had a few of those. More great defending from Porro, as he was the last man left as Bruno Fernandes was getting in one-on-one, and Porro put his body in between them and got the ball out. Eriksen had a shot blocked in front of Forster by Bissouma in the 21st minute. And it was actually Bissouma who'd made that chance happen for Man United by playing a naive kind of chipped ball into central midfield that United picked off easily. Pape Matar was booked for a foul on Bruno Fernandes in the 22nd minute. I thought it was a bit of a harsh booking. Bruno was in down the left and Sarr was chasing him back and just kind of went to try and sweep the ball from under him, but just got the back of his heel. Eriksen had a shot in the 24th minute from a free kick. Actually, the free kick that came from that Sarr booking. And it looked like he had a shot, whereas he probably should have gone for the to try and get a header on it from one of his players. It went over the bar. Forster had that covered. Mazraoui was booked in the 25th minute as Jed Spence did really well on the press to nick the ball ahead of him. And then Decky Kulusevski had a big chance, managed to break free in the inside left position. That's happened a couple of times this half. And he's about 8 yards out, and all he has to do really is whack it across the keeper, but he doesn't. He goes near post on his left foot, and the keeper stands up well and saves it. 29th minute, United playing well at this point. Another shot from Anthony, well blocked. This is the first of 2 blocks Archie Gray had with his in front of the goalkeeper in the first half. This one was with his head. Then there was another chance to Kulusevski in the 33rd minute. There was a little bit of a scramble in the penalty box for Spurs. And in the end, we're kind of just trying to get the ball blocked out as bodies kind of converged on the ball and all trying to tackle each other at once. And the ball broke to Kulusevski, who crossed it through one of the Man United players' legs. And it actually nearly was an own goal off Manuel Ugarte, just wide. They're just showing the finish from Dominic Solanke. Really excellent top-level finish, that one. 35th minute, a very long shot from Pedro Porro that went well wide. 36th minute, Bruno had a shot from the inside left position. That went wide. Højlund then volleyed wide in the 37th minute as United started ramping up the pressure. I've written again, so much space for United on the left that they are finding with diagonals from the right all the time. 38th minute, I felt Ugarte should have been booked for a foul on Madders, and the reason he wasn't is because the referee played play on as the ball went to Sonny on the left. But he called it back and had a word with Ugarte, and he should have booked him. Considering the booking he gave to Pape Matar, I thought it was a stonewall booking, really. Bruno in the 40th minute, who's really been United's best player, again, in down the left with a lovely cross with the outside of his boot, and Eriksen just couldn't get there at the back post. And then in the second minute of added time, Christian Eriksen had another kind of carbon copy shot on the edge of the box, first time with his left foot as it was laid back to him, and Archie Gray standing up strong in front of his goalkeeper once again. Guys, before I get into the comments, please do give this video a like. Press subscribe at Chris Cowlin. Press subscribe on his channel for daily Tottenham content. Also, he's at the game at the moment, so he's releasing content from the ground. He'll be probably putting up videos of some of the chanting and some of the atmosphere. But also, after this game, I'll be doing my instant match reaction. And then I'll be talking to Spurs fans from around the world about their thoughts on this match and how it went. And then at 11 o'clock, Chris Cowlin will be back for the Spurs Chat podcast, where he's joined by Ricky Norwood, Harry Hennings, and Jim Brentar. Okay, guys, let's get in the comments and see what you guys are saying. Forex Weeb, thanks for your comment. Says Kulu needs to help Porro. That long diagonal pass is putting him under pressure. I agree with that, actually. Grace and Peace says Saar has to be subbed early. I disagree there, to be honest, though he's doing well. Brian Lamar says, big up Barnaby, or Bar Baby, I'll take it. Do you think it's time for Kulu, Mid, and Johnson in? I don't at the moment, because I don't really think we're doing much down the right-hand side at the moment. Maybe there's a bit of space in behind Dallo, and having Johnson there might make Dallo think about not being so high and wide, but who knows? Sean says Kulu needs to press better, in my opinion. Gary Jarvis says Porro so poor. I think Porro's had to defend really well a couple of times, to be honest. G Moore says great attitude from our players again. Sean says that was nail biting. John Doe, close, exciting game. John Lancaster, really good point here. The worry is that United have a stronger bench, and I'd have to say that is true. They really do have a much stronger bench than Spurs do in this game, and it'll be interesting to see how that works out. I'm back at the place where you guys were telling me the score is wrong. I apologize, guys. The tech was supposed to change the score automatically. Devil Yorkie says, yes, the score messes with my OCD, but Barnaby will sort it out at halftime. I apologize. Oh, and also, I guess I have to stop the first half now. Apologies, guys. Yeah, it's supposed to all happen automatically. I've turned off the manual side of this. It's supposed to happen automatically. Let's see if it does in the second half. Apologies, guys. Thank you for getting me known about that. Zany Zim says, score, mate, read the comments. Now, listen, the reason why I'm not reading the comments during the game is because I'm on quite a big delay. So, I don't want to be seeing when there's a goal in the first place. So, Richo66, got an Everton fan in. Evening, new era begins at Everton FC now. Yeah, let me know in the comments, guys, as Spurs fans, how you feel about the fact that Everton have got their new owner. That is what Everton fans have wanted. However, I will say that the Friedman Group, who have taken over at Everton, they are also the owners of Roma, and Roma fans do not like them at all. They've made a few interesting decisions with their managerial hirings and firings. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, whether Sean Dyche is under pressure or not early because he's not their man. But yeah, that's one of the big stories today. Jim Clark, I think, trying to say I would like to see Spence a lot more. The complete singing course says our players doing great, giving everything. Yeah, I agree. I think we're doing all right here. I think we're doing okay. Just going back through your comments and seeing how annoyed you all got about the score. I can only apologize, guys. Like I said, hopefully it will happen. Tom Bowler, we should club together and get Barnaby a broadband connection. Yes, I guess because it was buffering at some points. Apologies for that. TSOM says the league needs Everton. One of the original top six. Yeah, that's true. One of the big three, even back in the kind of 80s. They were winning titles in the 80s. But yeah, Everton. It'll be interesting to see how they do with the Friedman Group, who've by hook or by crook managed to wipe off about £400 million of debt and change that into equity. I've got a few Everton family and friends. I'm sure they'll be pretty pleased about that. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? Oh yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? I've just noticed that from one of your comments. Why is the Man United, the Spurs team in red on the graphic? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and do something about that. Let's see if I can do something about that. Thanks for all your comments, guys. Really appreciate it. I'll be back, guys. You should still be able to hear me, hopefully. Okay, now Spurs hopefully should be in white. All things hopeful. Yes, there we go. We've had a little change. Just let me know in the comments if you can still see and hear me, guys, as I just made a little change there to hopefully get that graphic sorted. I'm older than Sam says, am I prejudiced or do Gray and Spence look like pretty good footballers? Yeah, I think they look like very good footballers personally. Devil Yorkie says, all good, Barnaby. You do a great job. One of your subscribers. You always get a like. Thank you so much. Altair says, can hear you. Man United now in the red, Spurs in the white. As I'm sure you can tell, guys, I'm not a technical whiz kid by any stretch of the imagination. So apologies with all the score stuff. I've been assured that it should all happen automatically, but very regularly, as you see, it does not. But anyway, more importantly, Tottenham winning 1-0 in this huge Carabao Cup quarterfinal. Let me know in the comments what you've thought of the atmosphere. If you've been listening to the commentary, the atmosphere in the ground. For me, at the moment, it seems like the Spurs fans are seeing how well Man United knocking it about, how they're making good patterns, good shapes, and that they fear that United are going to turn this around, and that's why there's maybe a little bit of a lull in the atmosphere. But we need the Spurs fans behind us. We need to get this second goal. I'm sure of it. John Salvage says, this won't be enough because we still look disjointed and a lack of firepower and sloppy defending will cost us. G Moore, great having Spence in the box set pieces with his height and strength. I thought, yeah, I think it is important that we have another big man in the box. I thought Jed Spence has done well. And we should hopefully be a little bit close, relatively close to the second half. As they're just showing a clip of the darts. TSOM says, we dropped off after we scored to a more counter-attacking setup. Seems sensible. Yeah. How do you guys feel about that space on the left-hand side and Bruno really pulling into that all the time? Is that going to come back to haunt us? They're just showing the goal again. Actually, Pedro Porro's shot got a little nick off Rasmus Højlund, and that's what made the keeper kind of palm it out. Too big Dom Solanke, who finishes it well, and Big Ange Postecoglou enjoyed that, to say the least. Whitack, thank you for your comments, says, yeah, I'm nervous. The Porro side is too open. John Salvage says, I can see Man United getting a couple of goals in the second half. I hope not. If that was the case, though, do you think there'll be... do you think the stadium will start booing? Do you think they would boo at the end if Spurs lose this to Man United, to what are a kind of stronger Man United squad than Spurs have at the moment? Listen, I think the reality of United having made 5 changes and us having to make 10, because we've got 10 players who would be in the first team squad unavailable, Spurs should be underdogs in this game as far as I'm concerned. And the fact they're winning, they're doing pretty well. So I don't want... I feel like it would be unnecessary if we lost this game for the crowd to get on the backs of Tottenham's players and manager. United are back on the pitch. Johnny Evans is on. I think he'd come on earlier, hadn't he? Or was it maybe they waited till half-time? Altair says, as long as we perform well and with passion, I would not expect boos. Designed to win, Liu says, we love any excuse to moan. Well, I just think that's probably modern football, really, and social media, isn't it? All football fans love an excuse to moan. It'll be interesting to see whether the clock goes automatically in the second half. United do have Garnacho, Diallo on the bench, to name but 2, in terms of they got Kobe Mainoo on the bench, England's Kobe Mainoo. So they've got a lot of strength potentially to bring on. And Spurs actually keeping United out on the field on their own, as Vicario, still on his crutches, limps out of the bench. Jamie Carragher is just talking about what Spurs have to do to combat that space that Bruno Fernandes has on the left. You'd like to think that Ange and his coaching team will have discussed it at half-time to tweak it. Carragher saying in the punditry booth, Spurs could go on to win this game 3-0 or lose it 3-1 as Spurs get their huddle going. No changes for Tottenham. Don't forget, Pape Matar has been booked. And the crowd starting to take their seats. Also, guys, let me know in the comments how you feel about the 22nd of December, where there is a planned anti-ENIC, anti-Daniel Levy protest before the Liverpool game. How do you feel about that, guys? Is that something that you think is right? Is it something you think is worth doing? Just waiting still to see. Here we go. Spurs now, of course, kicking towards the south stand, as we like to do in the second half. Will this kickoff happen automatically on the clock? I guess it's probably not. And no, it doesn't. So I will do it. Okay, there we go. That's the clock sorted. And United playing it amongst their back line, as they did a lot of the first half. Solanke pressing him, so they have to go mid-range ball into midfield. It's picked out well by Jed Spence, whose touch is beautiful. And he drives into a good area, flicks one forward, but comes to Solanke, who holds it up beautifully. Spence gets it off him and plays it out wide to Son. Well, Sonny now driving at the box. Maddison outside him. Oh, I'm so sorry to say that has just buffered at the worst possible time. And here we go. It's back. Maddison is in. Chance. It's a goal. 2-0 Tottenham. Decky Kulusevski. The buffering was at the wrong time. Maddison got to the byline, cuts it back. It's blocked, and it comes to Kulusevski. What a start for Spurs. Maddison did really well. It was Jed Spence, actually, who did all the great work in central midfield, and Solanke. And Sonny found Maddison, who broke down the left, tries to get it across the block. It's blocked by Martinez, and Kulusevski finishes it beautifully on his right foot. Yeah, the clearance from Martinez is not great, but it's kind of behind him, and it's a good finish. And that's a good start for this for Spurs, because as I was saying at halftime, if we can get the second goal, Manchester United will have to come out at us a lot more, and there will be spaces in behind. And I was asked by one of you in the comments at halftime, would you bring Johnson on? Maybe not long after this, I would, if United clearly make it a more attacking mode of play for them. But I really want to give a lot of credit to Jed Spence in central midfield there. Twice in the build-up to that goal, he showed strength, he showed good touch, and he showed great decision-making. And Solanke came in and held up the ball well, and that's how it ended up getting to Son, who laid in the ball to Maddison. Oh, and Spurs in now again. Oh, but it's offside. And there's a man down for Spurs on the left-hand side. Amorim is on his haunches on the halfway line. Bielsa-esque, AVB-esque. Apologies for the delay, guys. There's been a bit of buffering, but I'm at 47 minutes 40. It's a great finish first time from Kulusevski from about 8 yards out on his wrong side. He'd have been disappointed if he'd not finished it, that's for sure. But you've got to do it now. Who is injured on the left-hand side for Spurs? Okay, looks like whoever it was is up. And now I have to say the Decky Kulusevski anti-Daniel Levy song is being chanted by pretty much the whole stadium. Fascinating. That is the first time at this home stadium that Levy has ever had a song that really, it's not based on, back in the day when fans have chanted anti-Levy songs, it's been when Spurs have been losing. But now they have a chant that they can sing when they're winning because it's about Kulusevski as well. And yeah, Levy won't like that. Anyway, United play a long ball in central midfield. Basuma wins it, and it's a good touch. Yeah, and Sarr wins it again. And Spurs get it under control in central midfield and go back to Dragusin, who finds Porro on the right, being pressed by Martinez. And Sarr turns away, and he's going to go back to Forster in his box, being pressed by Rasmus Højlund. And Forster dinks it over the top to Jed Spence, who's being pressed, and goes back to Archie Gray. And Gray is in a bit of trouble here, being pressed by Anthony, but turns away from him well, but loses it. Does he, Gray? Yeah, but Spence helps him out. And Gray and Spence and Basuma get the ball back. Now, Basuma, don't do anything stupid. Yeah, in the end, he just has to kick it to Jed Spence. And that is a Spurs throw. Spence and Basuma just about do well enough back in their own left corner. Spurs 2-0 up, 49 minutes gone. Don't forget, guys, please do press that like button. Please do subscribe to Chris Cowlin's channel and my own for daily Spurs content. As Spurs clear it, but United pick it up in the Spurs half, and Yoro goes backwards over the halfway line as Spurs push up the pitch. And now Johnny Evans has the ball. And he's going to look for a big one over the top. And Bruno's made that run, but Dragusin does well and heads it down to Sarr, who could take it on the half turn, but doesn't. He goes back to Basuma, who plays a lovely ball now into James Maddison. And Sonny gets the ball on the left-hand side, and he's running at Mazraoui now. The fans are up for this. Sonny runs towards the box, and he goes back to Sarr. He comes back to Basuma, and Porro's in a good position. And outside Porro is Decky Kulusevski on the right, as Solanke tries to position himself in the box. Decky just sitting on the ball a little bit, goes back to Basuma, and Spurs moving United about. Sarr. And we're going backwards a little bit now with Basuma. Oh, and Basuma gets away from Eriksson, and that's a yellow card for Eriksson for sure. The refs let him play on, but he's got to come back for that, for a yellow card to Christian Eriksen. If he doesn't, that would be the second time he's done that to for a Man United player. Sarr plays a good ball across to Archie Gray, and he's got Sonny outside him if he can find him with his left foot, and he does. Solanke holds it up well. Spence now down the line to Son. Goes back to Spence. What's he going to try? Tries a little ball inside to Matters, but there's too much on it. Now, will Eriksson get booked here? He doesn't, and the ref is a bottle job. Very poor refereeing. That's twice now, I have to say. And Eriksson there dinks one over the top, but Dragusin brings it down on his chest and his head, does beautifully. Plays it to Spence, who wins the header. And Spurs have it with Kulusevski if he can get his body in the way. Oh, and he goes the wrong way, and it was kind of telegraphed. And Porro tries to dink one over the top towards Decky. But it's well won by Dalot, and United have the ball now with Martinez coming forward. Spurs pressing him now. Comes out to Bruno, who has to go backwards. To Dalot, and now to Johnny Evans, who's in the centre of the three centre halves. Comes out to Yoro, plays it inside. It's a nice ball, actually. Good press from Spurs, win the ball back. Archie Gray to Basuma, to Maddison, to Sarr. Now we're bringing it across to the right-hand side. Sarr into Kulusevski, who goes back to Sarr nicely. Sarr puts his foot on it and goes to Maddison, bringing it to the left-hand side now. Basuma. Jed Spence gives it to Sonny and makes a run outside him. Sonny comes back. Spurs just trying to draw United on a little bit here now. United, obviously, they have to do something. So Basuma goes back to Archie Gray, who plays a beautiful ball into Jed Spence in the inverted position, who plays it into Solanke's feet, who hold it up nicely. And Spurs have three on the inside left position, but Solanke instead drives narrow. Goes to Kulusevski, who tries the lovely little dinked through ball with the Rabona. Dink through ball. It goes straight through to the keeper. That would have been something special. And United go for another mid-range ball over the top of the Spurs defence. And it's called for offside. And Xerxes is going to come on for Manchester United. Okay, and Mainu. So a big change for United here. Xerxes, Mainu, and I think Diallo coming on. But actually, they haven't made those subs yet. As Jed Spence chips one over the top, and Solanke's one-on-one with Martinez here. And it's not offside. He cuts inside Solanke. Big chance, Spurs. 3-0. Dom Solanke, 3-0. Brilliant finish. Bottom left-hand corner. The ball over the top would be VAR'd if there was VAR, but he's onside, and he does beautifully to hold it up as United bodies get back. Cuts inside onto his right foot. Bottom left-hand corner. Beautiful. What a fucking striker this kid is. So here the ball over the top is from Jed Spence. Yeah, cuts inside. He's 16 yards out. Bottom left-hand corner. And you've got to give some credit to Jed Spence, who's played beautifully today in a position, his second start for Spurs in a wrong position, and he's playing beautifully. Tottenham Hotspur 3, Manchester United 0. And are they going to still make the same subs, Man United? Big Ange Postecoglou and Ryan Mason. I'll tell you what. I know what you're going to be saying in the comments. Get that score change. No, it has changed the score automatically. Good. Glad to see it. Confusing tech, guys, but who cares? Yeah, here come the big subs from Man United. 54th minute. So it's Xerxes for Anthony, who's been dog shit, frankly. Højlund coming off. Well, this is what Man United have now compared to Spurs is the opportunity to use their depth. And it's Eriksen coming off. And he gets a huge round of applause from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, gives it back to him. I love Christian Eriksen. Also, he was rolling back the years in that first half. He played really well, but they need more legs. I did say at the beginning of the show, Spurs' athleticism in midfield may be our best chance in this game. And Sarr and Bissouma so far have certainly overrun Eriksen and Ugarte as they cut to Amorim on the bench, looking not best pleased. Johnny Evans and Spurs are pressing high now, and the crowd are really in this game. United still trying to play their patterns, but Spurs have the pressure on them, making them go all the way back to their keeper here probably. No, it turns in and actually... Oh, and they tried an incredibly risky ball there. And Spurs have won it high with Bissouma. And Sonny. Oh, Madders tried to slip Sonny in. Didn't quite work out. Good stuff from Spurs. '56th minute as Decky Kulusevski wins the ball up off Man United again. And he's in at the byline, Decky. He's on the wrong side, though. And Martinez comes and slams all the way through him. And it's a corner to Tottenham Hotspur. And Gary Neville saying how brilliant Kulusevski is and the Spurs fans giving him the full love. Really strong there. Beat two players. Then beat Ugarte, who made it look like a mug. And Martinez plows through him to give away a corner. And Decky is going to take that corner. Please do get that video liked on YouTube, guys. Tottenham 3, Manchester United 0 in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. 57 minutes gone. It looks like Decky and James Maddison want to play it short. But there's a United defender there, Diallo. So Kulusevski now, I think, is going to whip this in swinger. Here it comes. It's on the keeper. Oh, he tries to shoot. I think Decky might have tried to shoot. It kind of nearly went over the keeper's head, but he did well in the end, the keeper. And the whole crowd are singing the Ange Postecoglou song as United try the big old diag. But it goes straight out of play. It wasn't a diag, it was a crossfield ball. And it goes straight out of play, and Kulusevski can take this throw quickly if he wants. He doesn't. He chooses to give it back to Pedro Porro. Tottenham this season have had an unbelievable record against the kind of so-called big six, really, haven't they? Really good so far. Beating Aston Villa, beating Manchester City, beating Man United 3-0 away, beating United 3-0 at the moment. Bissouma goes back to Porro, does well, Porro and Pape Matar. And Sarr tries to find Porro down the line, but there's too much on that. And both Martinez and Porro kind of stop each other from colliding into the advertising hoardings. Let me know what you think, guys, in the comments. Is Timo Werner... Oh, I tell you what, the keeper... Oh, the keeper just played such a dangerous ball, and Spurs have won it back high, but it slowed down a bit, and Bissouma now beating players for fun. Gives it into Madders. Finds Jed Spence. Oh, he tries to take it past... Mazraoui, who plays a nice ball into Bruno Fernandes, and United now try and get the ball across to the left, and they've got space down the left now with Diego Dalot. Sarr is working his nuts off to get back. He gets in a decent position. It comes inside to Bruno. Oh, and Decky could have maybe got a foot in there, but Bruno plays a big ball out to Diallo on the right-hand side now. He's going to want to go. That's going to be... It comes to Fraser Forster. Well done. 60th minute we're in now. Forster in his own box. Match stats, 2 shots in the second half to Spurs, 2 on target, 5 touches in the opposition box, none to Man United possession, 61% Spurs, 39% Man United. Dragoshin with the ball now, needs an option, goes down the line, and it's a good ball into Decky. Oh, he turns his man beautifully, and that should be a yellow card. Should be another yellow card on Kulusevski, but it's not, because the ref's bottling it, and Kulusevski just stays down for a bit, taking his breather. And Kulusevski saying to the ref, like, how many times are you going to not book Man United players when we get away from them on the transition, or when I'm rolling players and I could break at midfield? Anyway, Dragoshin's on this free kick. He wants to take it long, but makes the right decision to go to Porro, who dinks one over the top towards Solanke, who holds it down well. And we're running at the box here. Oh, but Solanke's pass inside to Madders wasn't good enough. And he's disappointed with himself, Dom Solanke there. That was a good chance for Spurs, but anyway. This is a cup competition, so United, they have to go for this. Like, there's literally no point in them saying, "Oh, we don't want to get beat 5," because it's a cup quarter-final, so they've got to try everything they can to get the next goal. So you'd think there'll be spaces, and maybe Brennan Johnson will come on soon enough as United play it down the right-hand side, and Bissouma goes absolutely through Diallo and gets the ball for a throw-in. 60 minutes gone. Half an hour to go. Jed Spence. What a game he's had. I love him. Spence. Uses his bum well there, Jed Spence. And it's strong. So strong. And he's fouled. Give Jed Spence a round of applause. I think we've got to find room for Jed Spence in this team, you know. I'm glad he signed a new contract a few months ago. I really like him. I really like him on the pitch. I'll say it again. I said it in the last watch-along. Said it in my videos this week. He must be a terrible trainer because all these managers not rating him. When he gets on the pitch for the first team, he's brilliant. He's really brilliant. He uses his body so well. He's quicker, back and forward, recovery runs. Oof. Anyway, ball comes back to Fraser Forster, who plays a very dangerous ball into Pedro Porro, and Spurs getting themselves in danger there unnecessarily. Forster being too brave. And in the end, Dragusin has to put it out, and he's out of position as United take the throw in quick. And United get to the byline. First chance of a cross for all. It's a decent cross. Big chance. Oh, and it's a brilliant save from Forster from Xerxes' header to his left. Huge from big Fraser Forster. Great save. United in the Spurs box again, but it's James Maddison who has gone through from behind. I just thought that was an unnecessary bit of play from Spurs trying to be perfect down the middle to get the ball up the pitch. And that's what created that cross and that chance. Anyway, Forster now on his own line. Oh, and he's played another horrible ball. What are we doing? And that's a goal for United. What are we doing? What are we doing? Twice in a row. Just completely fucking stupid. That's twice. It's just madness. Forster plays it across to Archie Gray, who plays it back to him on his goal line, and then he just plays a horrible pass to Dragusin that Fernandez cuts out, and it goes straight to Xerxes in the middle. And this gets the United fans up for it. This is just stupid. This is just stupid from Tottenham. Deary me. 3-1, 63rd minute. Yeah, Gary Neville saying we've opened the door up. Exactly. We're going to give them a bit of momentum here. Yeah. Commentator saying his best moment of the match, which came as a result of him overplaying as well in the middle with, I think, Bissouma. Best moment of the match quickly followed by his worst. Anyway, United play a big ball over the top on the right-hand side. Okay, the Spurs fans trying to get behind the team again. It goes back to their keeper who has to kick it long. Come on, Spurs. Get the next goal now. Otherwise, this could be horrible. And United are offside. Just totally unnecessary to give them a way back here. Big Ange looks very disappointed on the sidelines. And it's like, just totally unnecessary there, Fraser. Just get rid of it. I know that Ange has told you that's what he wants you to do, but at 3-0 up in a cup game, anyway, Dragusin tries to go down the middle, and it goes straight to the keeper as Maddison had made a run. United back on the ball. United fans now in this game. Porro wins a good header there, but United win it off him. Oh, good stuff. Good block from Porro, who's then fouled. The ref doesn't give it. Of course not. United play it out. Mainu to Bruno, but Sarr gets in the way, but Mainu then gives it back. And United have space in central midfield now with Diallo. Plays it outside him to Mazraoui. Running at Jed Spence. To Diallo's gone outside him. Spence trying to help out Archie Gray, and between them they do well. And Spence gives it to Archie Gray, but you've got to get rid of it here, Archie. Does well to Spence. And gets it nicely up to Solanke, who holds it up beautifully. But United just nick in ahead of him, and now they have the ball in central midfield with Xerxes. Has to go back. And the ball hits the referee. So frustrating that we gave that goal away like that. I have to say, before then, United did not look like scoring at all. The opposite, in fact, looked like Spurs were going to get the next one. Yoro. On the right-hand touchline now. Inside to Agate. Has to come back across again now to Evans, who's going to find Martinez. Kulusevski trying to, and they go over the top now. And Fernandes finds space again. And oh, beautiful first-time ball from Fernandes to Xerxes. Big chance here for United in the box. Cuts it back. And Basuma nearly scores an own goal. My God. He just looked lazy, Basuma, there, where he's trying to block that cross. It's a corner. It's going to be an in-swinger from Fernandes. Here it comes. No, he goes short. And here comes the in-swing second cross. It goes to the edge of the box. Big chance. And it goes wide. And it's another corner. Gary Neville now saying how this game is far from dead. That shot was going well wide, and Maddison almost puts it in at the far stick. That's what ends up being the corner. And here comes Fernandes with the in-swinger. It's on Forster's head. He punches it beautifully, and Kulusevski takes the first touch. Can't lose it here, Decky. Goes back to Porro, who goes long. Oh, and then the ref has called it back for a foul on Kulusevski when actually a clearance had gone to Dom Solanke in central midfield, and Spurs were at them. And again, the score is not happening automatically, so that's weird. Apologies. So there's been a lot of chat this season, hasn't there, about Spurs' management of games and inability to manage games, like, for instance, the Chelsea game when we were 2-0 up. This would be a big, big problem if Spurs didn't go on to win this game from here. It would be a big, big problem in terms of the narrative around Spurs, around Ange Postecoglou's Spurs particularly. And now showing the bench, or the players behind the bench who are injured. Richarlison, Udogie, Vicario, so many players. So United go long over the top of Jed Spence, but it comes all the way to Fraser Forster. Now, Fraser, what are you going to do, mate? Dragoshin is there. He goes to Archie Gray. And Gray plays it into Madders, who turns away beautifully and should get... That should be a yellow card for Kobe Mainu. And once again, the ref won't give it. Madders turns Kobe Mainu and is running at the Manchester United central midfield, and he gets taken down with an arm across his neck. Like, this referee, man. And now Garnacho is going to come on for Man United. Since their triple sub, United have had 70% possession and 8 touches in the Spurs box. So it has worked out. Spurs perhaps getting a little bit tired, a little bit leggy, which you'd expect. Comes to Forster, who's pressed. And it's another goal. Diallo pressed Forster. Oh my God, this is horrible. So the ball came to him, and he's waiting to try and pass the ball across to his centre-half, and Diallo presses him, and it goes straight in. And Gary Neville saying this is one of the most Tottenham things you'll see. Forster just has to go long here. What's he doing? Deary me. So both goals Forster's fault. And we did worry. We did say all season, the one player we can't afford to lose is Vicario. And this is where Forster's The chickens are coming home to roost. Both goals have been his fault as he's so uncomfortable with the ball at his feet. And Gary Neville saying how Man United have been able to smell blood ever since that triple substitution and Forster's first mistake. And frankly, at this point, Forster just has to kick everything long, I'm afraid. He has to. They've now cut to Vicario on the bench. He's with Mikey Moore. Come on, Forster. You've got to show you're a big man now. 20 minutes left. Okay, Solanke on the ball. Wolf tries to play it to Porro, but goes behind him. Such a Spurs narrative, isn't it? Into Deki Kulusevski. And Spurs, I think, fatigued. And not looking happy on the bench, to say the least. And Spurs now, again, I've said this all season, whenever Spurs are put under pressure this season, we collapse. We're weak. We can't deal with adversity. This is a big challenge for Tottenham Hotspur now, and we're playing balls not as confidently as we were in the first half. You can kind of almost see the collapse. Sarr does well there, but it breaks to Man United through central midfield, and they have got 15% more energy than Spurs at the moment as Dragishin and Porro come across. See it out. Well done, Pedro Porro. Amorim now very, very animated on the touchline. Forster looks like he wants to take this goal kick long. United fans absolutely loving this. And they keep cutting to Pat Jennings again. What a bizarre second half this has been for Fraser Forster so far. He kicks this one long. And Johnny Evans is forced to head it straight out of play. So it just shows kicking it long can get you some decent possession on the halfway line. To be fair to Forster, he's been great since he's come in for Vicario. Bissouma does well in central midfield, drives through United and goes for the return. Kulusevski can't find him, has to hold it up. And now he's under pressure. And Porro goes back to Dragishin. He's going to have to go back to Forster. And he has to go long. And he does go long with his left foot. And that gives it back to Man United. But in their own half. Spurs now putting some pressure on United's back line. Pressing them high. And they have to go long down the line. And actually, it's a good ball down the line. And well dealt with by Archie Gray. 73 minutes. So United go back to their keeper. Plays it easily to Martinez. Plays a great ball. Oh dear, they have so much space now with Garnacho running at Pape Matar towards the box. Comes inside to Bruno. He's going to have a dick. No, they're in. They're in on the right. Oh, and he cuts inside. I'm surprised. And hits it wide. Spurs get away with one. It's absolutely criminal that we've given United a chance here. And that was only just wide. And Forster is basically been bayed by the Man United fans to play this goal kick short. Just go long, Fraser. And he does go short to Dragishin, who plays it first time to Porro. And he goes long. So what's the point of that, basically? Might as well just have the keeper go long first so we don't put the pressure on them. Johnny Evans plays it out wide. Spurs need to find a way to get hold of this game, but there has been a notable fatiguing of Spurs in the last 10 or 15 minutes, and United are all over us. And unfortunately, during that fatiguing, we have given them a sniff. Dallo. United popping it about nicely now. Martinez. Mainu. United played all the way across to the right now. Maybe Spurs should be looking to bring on some legs now. Bergvall and Johnson, maybe. I don't know who you take off, frankly. Anyway, Dalot in down the left now. He's got Garnacho ahead of him. Comes in narrow. Plays a lovely ball into Fernandez, who's got space. Oh, and a bad touch from Xerxes. Saves Spurs, but it comes back to Diallo. Diallo's going to have a dig here. It goes over the bar. And Forster goes early to Archie Gray. And Archie Gray does not think about coming back to him. Goes to Jed Spence, and Spurs just giving it away easily now every time. Oh, and Solanke has given away a free kick, but the ref's so quick to blow up. It was never a free kick. And it's halfway in our own half. United getting their players forward. Bergwall is going to come on. United fans now so loud. And I have to say, if United score the next goal anytime before 90th minute, I think they'll go on to win this. And this will become one of the another Tottenham famous fuck up. Like the Manchester City FA Cup game where we were 3-0 up at halftime. Well, in this one, we're 3-0 up at home into the second half. Anyway, Fernandez plays it out wide right to Diallo. He's going to run at the byline. Spence gets himself in a good position, cuts it back. And that's a corner. United absolutely all over us now. In the end, it's Yves Bissouma gets his body in a good position. Here comes the corner. It's going to be an outswinger. Lots of movement in the box. It dinks to the edge of the box. Spence is up. Clears that header well. Well done, Jed Spence. Spurs need to get out. Diallo finds out wide right. And there, here comes the cross. Cleared by Dragusin. Kulusevski uses his body well. And it was held back. Was held back, referee? Fucking referee, man. Honestly, he's such a fucking United fan, this referee. It's been ridiculous. Jesus Christ. 77 minutes. Spurs fans trying to get behind the team now, but they look so shot. Evans now, out wide to Garnacho, looking to run his man. Plays it to Dalot, and Garnacho's gone again, and here comes the cross. Dragusin gets his first head on it, but it falls, of course, to Martinez. But, oh, Solanke nearly flicked it into Decky, but he can't. Decky's not really running much at the moment. As United get it back again, it's a bit like the Alamo at the moment. Mainu beats his man, and United will get a free kick there. It is a free kick, but he's only giving free kicks to United. Oh, and Maddison gets a yellow card. That is absolutely embarrassing. Madders is coming off. Bergvall comes on. "12 minutes to go. United have a free kick. They're going to dink up to the far post. Spurs keeping their line on the 18-yard box. United have 4 men at the far post. Fraser Forster must be completely shot here. Here comes the free kick. Goes over Solanke, and Bissouma clears well. But of course, United recycle around the halfway line. In fact, Spurs get a free kick for offside, which is good. Good linesmaning. Come on, Tottenham. Find a way to score the next goal, for goodness sake. Both goals were within the space of 6 minutes. Fraser, we need to find a way to get through this. It's like gallows humor being a Spurs fan. It really is. Even the fans look kind of a mixture of shocked and not surprised. Anyway, Spurs have gone long up towards Decky, but it's easily won by Johnny Evans. But the second ball is won on the halfway line as we approach the 80th minute. Unfortunately, this will come back on Levy and the recruitment team as well because, you know, not having a backup keeper who's good with the ball at his feet, and Mainu nicks the ball ahead of Kulusevski there, does really well, and United bring it down the left-hand side. But Kulusevski does well to turn away from Mainu and Garnacho, and that is a Spurs throw-in. 10 minutes to go of normal time. Feels inevitable, doesn't it, guys? It feels inevitable. Come on, fans, get behind us. Come on. Porro running down the right-hand side. Go on. Tries to get across him. It goes straight to the goalkeeper, unfortunately. And the keeper goes long. So this is a big fight. Dragoshin against Xerxes. And behind Xerxes was Garnacho was in if Dragoshin hadn't won that header. Anyway, it's some bad football from both teams in central midfield, but Spurs have it now with Basuma, who turns away nicely, does well. Now you can break forward and find a good ball here, Bis. Oh, and he doesn't. And he gives it away. And also, he's not working hard enough to come back. And Dallo is in down the left to Garnacho, running at the box. But Porro does beautifully. And then loses the second ball. But wins the third ball. Well done, Pedro Porro. Now give it easy. Does. Find Sonny. You can't lose it here, Sonny. You can't lose it here. He does lose it. And now there's a chance, a shot. Oh, and it goes straight down at Forster, and he chooses to kick the ball. I've never seen a save quite like that, and United get the ball back. It went straight at him, and he chose to kick it away. And United have the ball with Garnacho on the left. This is honestly crazy what's happening at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium here. United moving the ball around. Yeah, Sonny and Basuma giving the ball away in mad positions for Spurs. Just we are weakening. You can see it, not just the fatigue, but the decision making. The injuries, man, it's all coming too much. But Spurs need to dig in here. Need to find a way to dig in. Dom Solanke still working hard. As United play a ball into midfield into Manu, and he's got loads of room, and they're in down the left now. Dallo keeps the ball on. He's got Garnacho with him. Dallo dinks it towards the far post. Chance on the edge of the box. Basuma does brilliantly. And another chance over the bar from Diallo. Just showing the Diallo shot. It comes straight. It moves a little bit late, and Forster just gets a big right foot on it. But I'll tell you what, if he hasn't let in those two before that, I'm sure he goes with his hands. Okay, Forster goes long with his goal kick, and why not? Oh, and Sonny won the... No, it wasn't Sonny. It was Solanke won the header, but United have the ball back. 7 minutes left. This is so ugly. United play it across their backline. Bergvall hasn't really had a touch since he's come on. United make a run down the side. And it's Diallo against Gray. And Diallo's got ahead of him. And that's a goal kick. That is a goal kick. That should be a goal kick because he kicked it when it was already off the pitch, Diallo. And he wants a corner, but it's not. Okay, that's good refereeing. Because his last touch was when it was already off the pitch. And that was a good battle between Gray and Diallo. Gray has to be careful because he's running into the box. And in the end, the ball had already gone out. And it's pretty tight, but the referee gives a goal kick, which will just be Fraser hitting it long up to Man United anyway. But frankly, I don't mind that at this point. What Spurs need to do now is what all the teams do against us, which is go down for professional fouls, take your time waste. Come on, be smart here, Tottenham. Got to be smart here. Come on, the senior players on the pitch, Kulusevski, Son, Porro, as one comes over the top. Through to Xerxes, but he can't get it down. Dragoshin even, who's a bit older. Basuma, they need to be clever. And Basuma is fouled. Does well. Just stay down here, Basuma. Exactly. He's holding his mouth. Good. Maybe he's listening to me. Spurs need to be clever here. Into the 85th minute. We've had these matches against the likes of Palace, Ipswich, teams who have just... And they're just showing the... Oh, I'll tell you what. Forster's throw to Basuma put him in a dodgy position there, and Basuma did well. And Basuma is just taking a little bit of a sting out of the game here by holding his face. Forster is holding his rib, interestingly. Dear, it's just showing the goals now. And the fans, the Spurs fans getting behind them now. They're showing the second one now. And the second one is just honestly embarrassing. Anyway, 5 minutes. 5 minutes to make us not have to think about this ever again. Well, the game has started already. Man United have the ball. Don't know what happened there because last I saw Basuma was on the floor. But United now coming at us. over the halfway line. I guess he's not. I don't know why he's not bringing Brennan Johnson on. Maybe he's still ill or something. Anyway, they play the big diag, and Porro's pushed out the way there, and the ref gives a free kick. First time the ref's done something right in terms of giving Spurs a free kick. It was Garnacho pushed Porro out the way as the ball was going to Dallo over him, and they had way too much time. But thankfully, a free kick was given. And Dragishin's desperate to play it short, but Spurs trying to just hold on now. And Forster is holding his rib like he's got something wrong with him. Gary Neville is just saying, put it in the channel, Forster. Put it in the channel. And that's what he's done. He's gone towards Solanke. Martinez has out-jumped him, but the ball comes to Bissouma. Heads it into Son. He can't lose it there. Gives it to Bergvall, who tries something mental. And United have the ball back. And Spence cuts out that pass. Well done, Jed Spence. Drives forward. Needs help here. Plays a beautiful ball into Son. And Son's running at the box. And it's a good tackle from the United defender, to be fair. Yoro. Son was nearly in there. And that could have been huge. But we get a corner from it. If Son could have just got a touch ahead of Yoro, it might have been a penalty. But Yoro is quick. Now Spurs, keep that in the corner, I would. Keep it in the corner. And Spurs are trying to run the clock down now, thank God. And Sonny is injured and Martinez is trying to push him along. So I would be keeping this in the corner if I was Spurs. 87th minute we're in now. Like I said, this is what Palace and Ipswich have done to us. We need to now do it to Man United. But looks like Sonny is going to try and whip in a ball. Oh, and I'm buffering. Unbelievable timing for buffering. Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm buffering. This is terrible, terrible news. Okay. Oh, we scored. We scored from the corner, guys. I missed it. And their keeper's made a mistake. Come on, you Spurs. A corner from Sonny goes all the way in. And I said earlier, didn't I? Kulusevski shot. And Bergvall challenges him, but that's not a foul. Thank fuck for that. Thank fuck for that. And Fraser Forster will be the most happy man in the stadium. And there's no VAR. The keeper wants a foul on him, but it was nothing. It was Bergvall just challenging him. Bergvall's better in the air than we give him credit for, but that is fucking huge for Spurs. You knew the narrative was there. You knew what everyone wanted to do, and we did a bit of professional work in the last 10 minutes, holding on to that result. Amarim's on his haunches. You know what everyone was going to say about Tottenham. Gary Neville was already saying it about us. There's not enough in that from Bergvall. I'm sorry. He does get a hand on his arm. There's not enough on that. The keeper's got to be stronger. I don't think that's enough, but it's absolutely huge for Tottenham Hotspur. 4-2, 89th minute. Come on. Come on the semis. Come on the draw for the semis. Everyone knew what that narrative was going to be. Everyone knew what the word was that they were going to say about Tottenham after what happened with Fraser Forster in this game. And we have stopped that. And Sergio Reguilon, the lesser spotted Sergio Reguilon is coming onto the pitch with Brennan Johnson. Fraser Forster. I'm going to say it. He's done brilliantly for us. He gets the pass, but he now knows. Do you know what? I was thinking at the time, but I couldn't say it because of the hex. I'd rather it happen at 3-0 than in some other game. But my God, talk about putting us through the ringer, guys. Talk about putting us through the absolute ringer. My word. My word. Jed Spencer's going off. He's been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Sorry about the score, guys. It's supposed to happen automatically. I don't know. I need to speak to the tech developer people. But Reguilon is going on. Good lad. He was on loan at Man United last season. Deary me. What a second half this has been. We're into added time. 6 minutes added time, though. Oh, Christ. Well, Spurs just need to continue to be professional here. United just ploughing everyone forward and going long. Dragishin's under this long ball. Heads it out. Dalot on the left. Gets it in. And Garnacho's offside. Take your time over this, boys. Dragishin giving a high five to big Fraser Forster, who must want the ground to swallow him up. And Gary Neville talking about how it would have been an absolute disaster for Big Ange Postecoglou. Well, let's see out these 5 minutes. It is Tottenham after all. Like I said earlier, it is gallows humour being a Tottenham Hotspur fan, is it not? It is like my girlfriend describes it as a mental illness supporting this club. And by God, it is sometimes. Anyway, the ball goes long. Bergvall goes up for it, doesn't quite win it. And United go for a big long one over the top. And this is going to bounce. It's going to be awkward. And Dragishin lets it bounce, which is always problematic. And Xerxes gets there. And it's a good block in the end from Pedro Porro. Corner United. Bruno Fernandes was booked during that, the aftermath to that goal. So this is going to be an in-swing corner from Fernandes. Come on, boys. Stay strong here. Come on, boys. They've gone short with it. And here it comes for the cross now with Fernandes. And it's cleared by Basuma. Comes to the edge of the box. Mazraoui has a shot and it's wide. Come on, you Spurs. And Forster, I think it's fair to say, not only will take his time over this, but will also just whack it long, mate. Whack it long. The United fans, a lot of them have left. They felt that there was something brewing. But Tottenham showed a little bit of professionalism. But we've got to do the same. Big win from Pape Matar in the air there. Johnny Evans has to hack it long. And Sarr and Basuma, neither of them go for that. And actually it comes to Porro, who gives it out for a throw-in. United take it quickly with Dalot. And the Spurs fans are behind Spurs now when the Spurs go marching in. 3 minutes left, guys. Just over 3 minutes. Sarr the wrong side there. Bergvall does well. Oh, and he's given a free kick, the ref, and I didn't think it was. Against, I don't know if it was more against... I don't think it was Bergvall, actually. Anyway, United are going to put this, and they've got all the men going forward now. They're going to put this into the box. Spurs with a high line. In fact, they go left, and Garnacho is in down the line here. Johnson's with him, and he has to be strong here, Johnson. And it comes back to Dalot, who's going to want to get a cross in. Now Bruno is going to try and chip this to the back, and he dinks one over the top. Challenged at the back, and well cleared by Pape Matar, although it goes straight for a corner. Just kind of hacked that out. 93 minutes 30 gone. Another corner to United. This one's going to be an in-swing. It looks like it's Diallo, is it? Lots going on in the box as ever. The man free on the edge as well. Here it comes. Oh my God, they've scored again. Johnny Evans. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. Right, less than 2 minutes to go, Spurs. Can you be professional here? Just goes over Porro's head from the corner. Johnny Evans gets in the near post, and it goes through Forster. Oh, my God. You know they're going to make another chance. And it comes to Forster, who's just going to go long. 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes to survive here. Spurs just being bonkers. Dragishin just whacks it, and it goes down into the corner. And actually, Kulusevski and Mainu gets ahead. Goes down the line. Well done, Pedro Porro. That's huge. And a good ball in from Sarr. And Bergvall puts his foot on it. And Gray finds Porro somehow, but just put it in the corner. And it goes through to Bergvall. Just run it into the corner. Oh, and actually, that's a really good clearance from the Man United defender. We've got 1 minute left, and United are on the ball in central midfield. And they do beautifully. And they win it. And Sarr puts it out for a throw-in. Oh, God, this is honestly like hell. Being a Tottenham fan is like hell. United have the throw-in on the left. Dalot goes back to Martinez, and they're pulling it across to the right. Bear in mind how many players we now don't have on the pitch if we concede an equaliser and it goes to penalties. 30 seconds left. Johnny Evans is going to go long, is he? No, he goes out wide right. And United have 5 across the front line. And there's been something happen in the central midfield that hasn't been called. And it goes into Fraser Forster, who dives on it, and that's huge. Take your time, Fraser. Bergvall's down in the middle of the pitch and he's been hit up by Yoro. And I think Bergvall's doing the right thing here. I can't bear this game. I cannot bear Tottenham Hotspur sometimes. Bergvall has to get up, mate. It's our time now. Okay, he's all right. And I think Bergvall got a little punch, did he? But it's taking our time now. Bergvall is really livid. Right. Forster has the ball, but Bergvall has to calm the fuck down. Forster doesn't have the ball, it turns out. But this is our own time here. Okay, Forster has the ball. Oh, God. So we're now into 97 minutes, and it's our own time that has happened from Bergvall. I don't know what happened in the central midfield. And the ref gives it to Forster. God. Now, Forster, just whack it high and long. That should be it, ref, surely. Okay, he's gone high and long down the line. But the ref's playing on. Good win down the middle. Oh, and United win a foul off Bergvall there. And Bergvall's going to get booked. And United, the keeper now has the free kick and he's going to go long. And we're into 97 minutes 40 of the added 6. Here comes the long one. Spurs have to be strong here. Dragusin slips. Dragusin clears it. That's the end. Thank fuck for that. Jesus Christ, Tottenham. Big Ange is smiling with Amorim on the sidelines, but it is like hell watching Spurs sometimes. Can't even enjoy a Carabao Cup quarter-final win because at 3-0 up, our goalkeeper decides to give them 2 goals, throw in 2 goals by just kicking it straight in the fucking net. Let's never speak of this again. Let's never speak of this again. We're somehow through. We're in the draw for the semi-finals. And that will be in the new year. And maybe Vicario will be closer, but he's still on his crutches. And everyone giving Fraser Forster big hugs. Dom Solanke had a huge game. The keeper, Man United's keeper, is complaining about the 4th goal, which went in straight from the corner. My God. Anyway, in a minute, I will start my live instant match reaction, guys. But I have to say that how on earth, sorry, it went mute there a little bit. Tottenham are in the draw for the semi-final. That's the important thing, guys. That is the only thing that matters at this stage. But my goodness me. I don't know what to say, really. I said it a second ago. I'll say it again. Watching Tottenham Hotspur is like a mental illness. Tottenham were 3-0 up, just gliding along, and Fraser Forster gives 2 of the maddest, wildest goals to Manchester United. And so they're back in it. They're completely back in it. And yeah, I don't know what more I can say, basically. I know you're saying I'm muted. Is the sound working again already, guys? Can you let me know in the comments? I'll start at the beginning. It's so difficult to know what to say. Yeah, just, I'm actually shocked. I'm in shock. So basically what happened was Tottenham, gliding along in the second half, 3-0 up, and Fraser Forster trying to play Ange ball, the ball at his feet. What we've been worried about with Fraser Forster ever since we made it clear that he was our backup goalkeeper. he made his first mistakes properly with the ball at his feet, and he gave them 2 goals. And then just it was like the Alamo, and Manchester United just at us and at us and at us. And then, thank God, Son Heung-min with a 4th goal, which probably shouldn't have been allowed because Lucas Bergvall, who's good in the air, actually, he had a hand on the keeper, that's for sure. But can you tell I'm in shock? I'm very rarely at a loss of what to say, but somehow we're through. But it doesn't feel, I mean, I just don't know what to say. I'll go back to the game. The game started, first half, I'd say Man United were popping it about nicely. They do look like they've got a shape and a pattern about them under Ruben Amorim. There was a good move in the first minute between Sonny and Decky on the left, and a kind of a long-range kind of 1-2 that nearly fell to Sonny in the box from Kulusevski's cross. Bissouma started the game well, a couple of good early interceptions. Sonny had a good chance to get in on the left, but our final ball was blocked. That's all in the first 10 minutes. Porro also with some really good defending a few times in that first half, but where Spurs were kind of one-on-one at the back against Højlund and Dalot. There was a lot of space on the left-hand side all through that first half, but Porro did really well. And then Dragusin, some really good defending in the 11th minute from Radu Dragusin, who got ahead of Højlund one-on-one. Dragusin had a big game. He's really improving for me, Radu Dragusin, at the moment. Very big fan of his. And just as I see Jed Spence walking off the pitch, he had another brilliant game for Tottenham, Jed Spence. But I'll go into the individual performances in a bit. Bruno Fernandes was playing beautifully for Man United in that first half. He had a couple of cross-come shots that went off for a goal kick. Sonny had a shot in the 12th minute that he was aiming for the top corner, but it went wide. And Sarr and Bissouma, as I mentioned, really intercepting the ball nicely in central midfield. It went 1-0, 14th minute, 1-0 Spurs. Porro had a shot from just outside the box, saved by the keeper. He didn't get his save wide enough, though, and it was a beautiful finish from Dominic Solanke on the half volley in off the near post. 1-0 Spurs for Dominic Solanke's 8th goal of the season. Some more great defending from Porro in the 20th minute. Eriksen had a couple of shots in that first half, kind of on the edge of the box when the ball's laid back to him, and both times Archie Gray, who had another good game partnering Radu Dragusin, got his body in the way, once with his head and once with his foot. But Mazraoui was booked in the 25th minute. Eriksen had a shot just over the bar just before that. And Decky had a huge chance just after Mazraoui got booked, where he's in from 8 yards out. All he needs to do is shoot it across the goalkeeper. But he doesn't. He goes near post and the keeper made a save. United did play well in that in that first half. We had another chance in the 33rd minute. Decky maybe could have had a shot, but he crosses it, and it was nearly an own goal off Ugarte. And then United started ramping off the pressure. In the 35th minute, Porro had a long shot, but Bruno had a really good shot for United just wide. Højlund had a volley wide, and then Ugarte should have been booked for a foul on Maddison in the 38th minute, but wasn't. And that for me was one of many situations where United should have had a man booked and didn't. And the refs seemed to be kind of booking Spurs players for 50-50 stuff and not United players. In the second minute of added time in the first half, Eriksen had a shot blocked by Gray. I've mentioned that already. Okay, going into the second half, Decky Kulusevski made it 2-0 in the 46th minute. Maddison got the ball on the byline from a Sonny pass. It was actually beautiful play from Solanke holding it up and Jed Spence driving through central midfield to get it out to Maddison on the byline. He crossed it across the front of the box. Martinez didn't get enough on it and brilliantly finished by Decky Kulusevski. And at that point, we are cruising 2-0. I was saying, though, we had to get the next goal. And I thought that would be that. Eriksen was booked, or should have been booked, in the 50th minute for holding back a Spurs transition. Wasn't. Ref bottling it again. 52nd minute, Decky tried a Rabona through ball, but was too much on it, showing the confidence we had at that stage of the goal. And then in the 53rd minute, Dominic Solanke, bottom left-hand corner, from a beautiful ball over the top from Spence. Solanke running in, cuts across the defenders, hits it into the bottom left-hand corner. Beautiful and totally deserved. He had a brilliant game. Then United made a triple substitution. Xerxes, Mainu and Diallo on for the frankly awful Anthony. Højlund was okay and Eriksen was pulling the strings in that first half but tired. 56th minute, Spurs still on top. Madders trying to slip Sonny in. It didn't come off. 57th minute, maybe a little bit of foreshadowing to what happened late in the game. Kulusevski's corner nearly went straight in over the keeper, but he just got it. Then in the 62nd minute, a huge save from Fraser Forster. Really brilliant save from a Xerxes header. And then straight away, well, actually, that save came from Forster giving a dodgy kick back out into the middle, and United had that chance. And then straight away, the same thing happened. Spurs overplaying. Fraser Forster giving a horrible pass out, attempting to find Dragusin, and Xerxes slips in from Fernandes winning it and crossing it. That's in the 62nd minute. 66th minute, United almost score again, getting in down the left, cross nearly put into his own net by Yves Bissouma. The corner leads to a shot from Diallo, which was deflected wide. 69th minute, the ref should have booked Mainu for stopping a transition, but he doesn't. Again, bottles it again. It was very odd. And then in the 70th minute, 3-2, because Forster was pressed and Diallo just slid in at his feet and the ball goes in off the press. Embarrassing. And Forster must have wanted the ground to swallow him up at this point. And frankly, that's when, you know, the whole narrative was there. Gary Neville on co-coms just talking about how this is typical Spurs and that United can smell blood and we all know what's going to happen there. United had another huge chance wide from Mazraoui, 74th minute. Diallo, long-range shot over the bar, 75th minute. It was like the Alamo at this point. Maddison booked in the 78th minute. The referee, I've written in capital letters, is shocking, only giving fouls and bookings against Spurs. Bergvall comes on for Madders at that point to give us some legs. 81st minute, one of the weirdest saves you will ever see from Fraser Forster, who clearly at this point, his confidence is in the ground. And a long-range shot, I think, from Diallo kind of bends a bit at the last minute. It's right at him, but he chooses to kick it away. Very rare, but it worked. 82nd minute, shot over the bar from Diallo. And then in the 88th minute, it was buffering on my screen, but then I saw it. The corner goes straight in, I'm pretty sure, from Sonny, and Bergvall was up. He's got a good leap on him. Bergvall gets up with the keeper, and his arm touches the keeper's arm. I don't think the keeper's going to get there anyway, but you'd think at that point, and I was saying, thank God, we needed that, it's over. But no, 6 added minutes time. By this point, Reguilon has come on. Brennan Johnson has come on. Xerxes has a shot blocked by Porro. Mazraoui then shoots wide, and then it's 4-3. Johnny Evans from a corner at the near post. Bergvall then gets, I don't know, he goes down in midfield, and he's livid about something. He gets booked, and then finally, thankfully, the referee blows up. But my God, what an absolute wreck of a football match. Spurs, so good for so long, played it exactly right. But I've been saying it in watch-alongs, I've been saying it in videos. When the pressure comes on Tottenham, they don't know how to deal with it. And we nearly threw it away again. Thankfully, this won't go down in the pantheon of classic Spurs losses. I was at White Hart Lane when Tottenham were 3-0 up at halftime against Manchester City in the FA Cup. Joey Barton had been sent off at halftime for Manchester City, and Spurs not only lost 4-3, but they lost 4-3 to 10 men before it wasn't even extra time. And I thought today was going to go in as one of those pantheon performances of that word that I refuse to say. But we didn't. We found a way through, and that could be huge for the future of this group. Absolutely huge. Let's talk about individual performances before I bring people in from around the world to give their thoughts. Fraser Forster, you know, he didn't have much to do, and then he threw 2 in. So I'm going to have to give him a 1 out of 10. But like I said, hopefully he gets that out of his mind now. He will be pressed harder by opposition attackers. That will happen. But he needs to get it out of his mind. Better it happened there than some other time, but it can't happen again. Porro did well. Jed Spence, for me, one of my men of the match. We've got to find room for this kid. He's unbelievable. He's so good. Dragoshin and Gray. Considering Dragoshin, isn't a first choice and Gray isn't even a centre-back, I thought they did brilliantly. Bissouma and Sarr intercepted the ball well throughout. Always so much engine room in that midfield. Bissouma doing some Bissouma stuff throughout the game, but you're always going to get that. A little bit of a lack of concentration, but he was still going into the 97th, 98th minute. And I should say, because I didn't when I went through the game, Spurs, one of the reasons that Spurs really let Man United in, they clearly fatigued in that last half an hour. And that's clear. And that was always going to happen. We only had 2 players on the bench who we could really realistically bring on. Anyway, Maddison, I thought, did great. Deki Kulusevski, what a brilliant player, genius. I'm going to give him another 9 out of 10. Solanke, for me, probably my man of the match with Jed Spence. Fantastic hold-up play, unbelievable. And Sonny got the important goal at the end. Being a Spurs fan is just a horror show, isn't it? It's just a horror show. We got the win, but it's almost like it's impossible to enjoy the win. I'm going to enjoy the win. I'm going to talk to some other Spurs fans in a minute and try and enjoy the win. But blimey, they put us through the ringer. And what can Ange say to Fraser Forster to get his confidence back up? But the important thing is we are in the draw, and the draw is about to take place, and I'll bring that to you as it happens. Frankly, I want Arsenal in the draw. Let's take them down over 2 legs. I want Arsenal in the draw. It's Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, and Spurs. If we're going to win a trophy this season, it's going to have to be the hard way. We've had to beat Man United. We've had to beat Man City. But we're in the draw, and let's get a 2-legged tie against Arsenal, who I think, frankly, will play a lot of their reserve players. And in fact, maybe it's beneficial to try and play Arsenal or Liverpool because they're likely to play more of their reserve players. Anyway, that's been my instant match reaction, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And now I will move on to talking to some other Spurs fans from around the world. Let me just get my tech sorted, guys, and see who we're going to talk to. Can you tell I'm in shock? It's hard to know what to say. It really, really is. Let's have a look. Who have we got here? Well, I'm supposed to be talking to Paul first, but he's not online. So I'm going to go to Liam. Liam, can you hear me, mate?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you so much for being patient, Liam. Are you? How do you feel?
Oh, it's just painful, isn't it, being a Spurs fan? Your heart, like, honestly, at the end of that game, you think 3-0 up, and then I am amazed they didn't equalise. I thought it was just another Spursy kind of performance, throw it away. We get laughed at again by opposition fans, but somehow we held on.
I've just got some stats here, Liam. So 20 shots to Man United to Spurs is 9. Expected goals, Spurs 0.67, United 2.38. I think that a lot of that is to do with that kind of last 10, 20 minutes where it was kind of like the Alamo. But before that, Tottenham had been fantastic.
We were. This is why it's so frustrating, though, because we're playing so well. And it's almost like you expect it at this point. Like we're going to have like that 20-minute period where we're just doing weird things. I mean, Forster makes a great save.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes from a mistake, first of all, but he makes a great save and then just instantly gives away 2 goals. But we were great. I think Spence, easily player of the match. Solanke was really good. Kulu was great as always.
We need to find a way to get Spence into this team. I mean, he needs to be rotating more regularly with Porro, because if you can do that at left back, think what he can do at right back. Let's go through some just comments while I've got you here, Liam. Did anyone know? Jim Brentar says, did anyone else notice when Ange said stop trying to play out? So finally, we've seen the tweet from Ange where he is finally willing to admit that it's probably not time. I should also say I've got a super chat from Philly Hotspur. I'll bring that up. They're just taking the piss out of me. Barnaby stream buffering during Spurs' 4th goal. I know. Gutted about that, but thanks so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it, guys. Grace and Peace says sell Porro and keep Spence. Listen, I think Porro is a good example. He's been run into the ground this season, and he put in another shift, didn't he? He didn't play badly by any means, but he put in a shift.
Yeah, no, I think Porro, he always does. He gives everything. Like, you can't fault him for giving everything. But I think, like, based on current form, Spence has to be starting over Porro. But I also think that's a really good thing to have, because I think that will probably bring the best out of Pedro as well, because he wasn't fighting for his position, so he was safe. But now Spence being given a chance, I think that can only be a good thing.
Keith Browning, a pretty angry Spurs fan in the comments, says, can't blame Forster. Effing Ange tells them to play that way. Ridiculous. Put your effing boot through it. Now, this is where I want to come back to the subject of managing match situations.
Yeah,
it's absolutely one thing to play that way in the first few minutes, especially when the United team aren't pressing you there. That's absolutely fine. And I think, to be honest, I think Forster has done well with this since, as well as shot stopping, he's done pretty well overall with this since he's been in the Spurs team. But certainly after the first one has gone in, you're like, let's not do that again.
Yeah.
I mean, go on. Sorry, Lim.
Sorry. I think even in commentary, Gary Neville said, I can't believe they're going to go square again. And sitting there as a fan, you are like, why are you going square again? Just get rid of it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Liam, who do you want in the semis?
Arsenal. Because you could say Newcastle, but then you risk them facing Arsenal in a final. I don't think my heart could take facing Arsenal in a final. Yeah,
there's never been a Tottenham-Arsenal final. There have been some big Tottenham-Arsenal semi-finals in the League Cup and the FA Cup. I think 2 legs over Arsenal would probably give us our best chance. That's why I wouldn't mind them. Do you think, is there anything in what I was saying before about maybe playing one of Arsenal or Liverpool because they're more likely to play their reserve teams?
Yeah, I definitely think there is, because I think last night Arsenal played a slightly changed side. I don't think, like, for Arsenal and Liverpool, it's all about the league, right? They're all going for the league. Champions League, they want to go for as well. Yeah. League Cup to them doesn't really mean anything, but to us, just win anything. I just want to see us win something.
I mean, it would be fascinating if it was a Tottenham-Newcastle final. The two clubs who haven't won trophies for longest. Adatunji says, guys, we all need to take a deep breath. We played with a fatigued team with many of our stars injured. Man United played with a pretty full squad full squad. You're working hard for a new manager. Kudos to the lads. I love that positivity, Adetunji. Sorry. I love that. I really do. And I agree. But the problem is, you know, and you must feel it as well, Adetunji, is like when you've watched Spurs, you know, grab defeat from the jaws of victory so many times, and the narrative and the script is written for you, and Sky love the script and all of that stuff, you can't help but be anything other than shocked. That was like watching a horror film in that second half.
Yeah, it was. That's the thing though with us. You're 3-0 up. You're like, even surely now we can't. But as soon as the first one goes,
What about a 4-2? We gave away another goal at 4-2.
Yeah. I mean,
Tiago Basara in the comments says Tottenham players need a psychologist. We all do.
I think being a Spurs fan, everyone, like the club should actually pay for all the fans to have a psychologist.
Yes, I think that's true. So Ryan Garriga's just said, when will Chris and the usual suspects be back? So Chris will be on with the Spurs Chat podcast, Ryan, at 11 o'clock with Ricky Norwood, Harry Hennings and Jim Brentar. So that'll be on a slightly separate feed. But until 11, I will be talking to people like Liam from around the world about their feelings on that performance. And then Chris will be there. Liam, we can now finally, I guess, look ahead to that Liverpool game. Liverpool, obviously, what a surprise, have an extra day's rest. Yeah. What can we do against them?
Oh, not that. Don't do that at the end of the game, because I feel they'll punish us a lot more. I think it's against the big teams. We do show up, but I think I want to be positive. I think we grab a 2-1 win, but realistically,
Liam, I love that. Okay, Liam, I'm going to let you go, mate, but I'll speak to you after that 2-1 win, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you.
Top man. Cheers, mate. Bye. Okay, next up, I'm going to ask, let's see who we've got here. 1 second. I'm just going to ruthlessly, there we go, Liam's gone. So I'm going to speak to, who we got? Harry, can you just get on your camera so that I know that you're there if you're coming on? I will speak to John in Essex. John, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks. You?
John, you're of a slightly older persuasion like me. Is that up there with some of the scariest classic Spurs performances you've watched?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just typical Tottenham. You know, I'm not happy unless we're 3-0 up in the 90th minute. And then I think, we have won now. But up until then, you know, it is just typical Tottenham. I mean, I'll give the keeper Forster a free pass on the first one, you know, first mistake in 5 games or whatever he's had. And but I couldn't with the second one. You know, there's just no excuse for that.
And what do you think it is then? So I guess from my point of view, you've got to think that it's Ange Postecoglou saying, no, you've got to always play that way. You've got to always play that way. But surely there has to be some game management thing where you say, unless you've just thrown one in that manner.
Yeah, but if the keeper's not comfortable in that moment, he should be big. He's old enough, experienced enough to get rid of it. And if he gets shouted at by Ange, then tough. You know, he's got to take it. But with both of them, he wasn't under any immediate pressure. It weren't like he got a bad ball when he had to run out and get rid of it as quick as he could. They were his fault, both of them.
I thought the second one, I have to say, I thought the second one, Archie Gray gave him one of those balls where it's on your goal line. So in your head, you're like spending so much time thinking, don't let this go under my foot, that then... Yeah. But once he's got it out of his feet, he just needs to just kick it off for a corner.
Yeah, but
whatever.
He took too long. He was dillying and he dallied on it too long, and you can't do that in today's game.
Is there a way of looking at this and trying to see it as a positive, as like that surely won't happen again?
No, it will happen again. It will happen again with Tottenham. But no, it's a positive. We've won the game. I mean, they didn't have a shot on target until the good save he made from the header in the 63rd minute. Yeah. And I thought we was pretty comfortable throughout in that way. And the big positive for me was, it's Man United. I don't care what sort of form they're in. They're still, a big club. Yeah. And we've got past them. We've beaten them.
Just want to get in the comments. Hardball Get says, "Oh, for fuck's sake, Barnaby, enjoy the wins." Listen, thank you for your comment, and I understand it. I do. And I am enjoying the win. I'm really glad we're in the semis, but I have to say, it's almost like I'm glad that we're in the semis because of what we would be abused with had we found a way to lose that game. And that is PTSD, isn't it? That is the PTSD from, me being at that Man City game, or, the 22-second handball in the Champions League final from Moussa Sissoko. Like, John, that's what it is, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my mate, he's a West Ham fan. When it went 3-2, he texted me, this is why Tottenham never win anything.
Yeah.
And a little bit hard to argue.
John, is this a story brewing though, with Ange managing to find ways to change our mentality? Could we win something, or do you, like me, fear that when it comes to big games, a semi or a final, when a bit of adversity comes our way, are we going to find a way to throw it away?
No, I think he's slowly going to be able to change it. I think he's going to be the best thing that's happened to Tottenham for a long time.
John, I love that.
Given the time, which I think he will be by the ball. I think it's only half the fans that were, social media and that wanting him out. I think he's absolutely brilliant. The football we play, I don't fear anyone anymore.
No.
I know
we're better against the good teams than we are the bad teams.
Yeah, but whereas before I'd fear going to Anfield, and even though we've got a great record against Man City, I still fear when we play them because of the players they've got. But I don't fear anyone anymore, and I've never been, so confident when we go into games. I know it depends what Tottenham turn up, and we can lose to anyone, but we can beat anyone. And with our front five, if they are clinical, they will get the chances. And I mean, the amount of games we've won, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 this season, scored more goals than any other team in the Prem. Going forward, it's just brilliant to watch for me.
It is, and look, and maybe this is jumping the gun a bit, but I think what if we were to make a final, and bear in mind we've made a lot of finals in the Poch years, even. If we were to make a final, at least you're going to go into that final. We're going to play this kind of football. We're not going to try and, we're not going to do something bonkers like play Son Heung-min at left wing back like Poch did against Chelsea that year, or try and like nick it on the, try and play 11 men behind the ball. And maybe that's what Ange is talking about in terms of the mentality shift, is like, he has to keep saying you've got to play this way the whole way, because otherwise you'll get to these big moments and it won't be muscle memory. It won't be natural.
Yeah, no, I agree fully. We just got to keep doing what we're doing. The players are getting more. I mean, I thought the defenders today were all really good.
I agree.
Dragerson, I thought, was great. And Spence, I mentioned him after the last game. Ability-wise, absolutely brilliant. You said earlier on, had a great game. And it's surprising me all the time what he can do with the ball at his feet, with his defending, going forward. He just looks a real deal.
He's so powerful. He is so powerful. And frankly, what a good time for us to have someone that we can really rotate with those fullbacks, because they are, running on fumes. I'm just going to get into the chat a little bit while you're here, if that's all right, John. Melissa Bloom says, Forster's mistakes today do not take away from his brilliant saves. I think he'll improve next time. I really hope so. Wolfie's investment strategies says, everyone is talking post-game like we lost. For sake, the improvement is there. Old Spurs would have lost, and Spurs are slowly changing. We will win those. And he says that word that I refuse to say, those games. That is, I think, a good point. And look, and I've apologized already for being a bit in shock and therefore a little bit negative. But like I said, that's the PTSD. But I think Wolfie has a really good point there. Old Spurs would have lost, wouldn't they, John?
Yeah, definitely. And one last thing, Archie Gray, he is going to be that good a player. He's one of them players who you'll hardly notice in some games, because he is so comfortable and he's playing like a 30-year-old.
I completely agree. And while I'm talking to you, John, who will remember this, like he could be, I said it the other day, he could be like our next Steve Perryman or Gary Mabbott, someone who comes in at an incredibly young age, plays in every position and ends up being one of our highest appearance makers. Because like you said, and I'm so glad you said it, sometimes the hardest thing to do on a football pitch is to do the easy thing. And he does everything easy and well. Yeah. And there are so many players who feel like they have to try and do something extra. But no, like you said, he just does. He's barely noticeable. He's in the right position. He's clearly incredibly easily coachable. He is a huge talent. And this season, in terms of those boys, Archie Gray, Jed Spence, Lucas Bergvall's leap for that fourth goal. We needed that fourth goal, and he did enough. And this will be huge for these boys going forward.
I mean, the way we're going with the manager, I'm looking forward to next season already.
Yeah,
because we're going to be that far more forward with the manager and with his game plan and the players.
Hopefully less injuries as well, John.
Yeah. I mean, that's just incredible, the amount of injuries we've got. A lot of teams would completely collapse with the amount we've got.
Exactly. TSOM here says, Gray is an absolute diamond, the best investment this club has ever made. Listen, I think people are starting to realise what we've got in Archie Gray. I really do. And long may it continue because, like you said, just a brilliant young player. Be Good Now 5 says, yep, you're right. We need that muscle memory to know how to lose from a winning position. Okay, you're being sarcastic there. But I think, listen, I don't know. It's not always, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but I will go with the fact, as what the previous commenter said, that we would have found a way to lose that previously, and we didn't. Billy Four Eyes says, Gray is a very intelligent player. Sydney Moose says, off to the semis. Come on, you Spurs. And RB says, we've won 2 games. A lot of people said we would lose. Guys, keep your comments coming in. I'll keep coming to you. The draw should be coming up relatively soon. Also, give this video a like if you haven't already. Please do press subscribe to Chris's channel and also to mine at Barnaby Slater _. Also, if you would like to appear talking to me after a future episode, as John is now, email tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. It's really important to us on this channel that everyone gets a voice. And John, you are being praised to the hilt in the comments. Let's just move on quickly, John. Liverpool at the weekend. Liverpool unbeaten this season, pretty much. Oh, no, they lost at home to Nottingham Forest, but they're on a great run of form. As you said earlier, we're better against the better teams. We can give them a scare, I would have thought.
Oh, definitely. Like I say, it's all down to us being clinical. If we're clinical, we're going to create chances and we can beat Liverpool, no problem. But, it's a big if. We've got to be clinical. It's no good having 3 or 4 great chances and we don't put any of them away.
Yeah. Okay, so they're just interviewing Ange Postecoglou. I'm going to listen to this. Ange's got a little wry smile saying, obviously, we made it harder for ourselves than we should have done.
Yeah.
He said we looked like we were going to manage the game well, but then 2 moments. First one affected Fraser. The second one came as a result of the first one. That makes sense. But he's not throwing Fraser under the bus. You can't.
No, he needs him more than ever.
Who do you want in that semi, John?
I really don't mind. Like the fella before, it would be bad for the heart having Arsenal in the final if we didn't get through the semi. But yeah, I wouldn't mind Arsenal in the semi over 2 legs. Like I say, I don't fear anyone anymore with the attacking football that we play.
All right, John, listen, thank you so much for calling in, and I'll speak to you after that Liverpool game, I hope.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot,
man. See you later. Guys, just while I'm waiting for the draw to happen, don't forget that we're delighted to announce that the Spurs Chat podcast is a finalist at the Sports Podcast Awards 2025 in the Best Team Podcast category. You can vote for the Spurs Chat podcast by clicking the link in the description box below. Your support is really appreciated. Closing date for voting is 13th of January, and the winner is announced on the 30th of January. Be Good Now 5 says, we will only go forward if Ange ditches that stupid pass out from the back, always tactic. As for Liverpool, forget it. A little bit of negativity from Be Good Now 5. I am now going to go to one of my regulars, and that is Steve in the Czech Republic. Steve, how are you, mate?
Yeah, hi, Barnaby. Well, I didn't have so much grey hair that I have now before the game. That was unbelievable. It was totally mind blowing. I'm sort of in shock like most people.
Yeah, just showing the kind of rest of Ange's interview. I'm not listening to it, but he's got a big smile on his face. Let's actually start, Steve, just because you're a regular as well. Let's start with the first half, and I'd like to ask you about Dominic Solanke's performance. He got that first goal and then the second goal in the second half, but we've got a real deal striker, haven't we?
Yeah, I must admit, I was not the jury was out, but I was a bit concerned that he'd only scored 1 or 2 goals, which I thought were particularly sort of good and not tap-ins. And the goal he got, it was a very difficult strike. It was on the half volley, I believe, and just on the inside of the box. But he reacted faster than anyone else, and he's not the fastest player by any means on the pitch at the time. And he reacts fastest of all.
He scored a few rebound goals this season, hasn't he, Steve? That's one of his things.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, he reads it well. And the second goal he took superbly. Yeah, let it run across his body, made a couple of steps inside and then put it in the corner. I was obviously surprised and elated that he took that goal. Yeah, no, so very pleased with his play and his link-up play. As we said before, he's superb. He works tirelessly.
And Steve, talk me through how you were feeling within your own body when that second mistake from Fraser Forster happened.
I was actually going to post before the game started because he said, I think Basuma's due for a good game. And I was going to write, you're dead right there. And I'm afraid to think that Fraser Forster's due for a bad one. But I relented from putting that in there. But I must admit, when that went in, I just thought, oh, here we go. I've been a fan since the 66-67 series, a year, sorry. And I've seen quite a lot, but I was thinking, oh my God, I can't believe we're going to throw this away. And unfortunately, one of my brothers is a staunch Arsenal fan.
Oh dear, dear.
So I was getting the text, there we go, and all the rest of it. So, but it was bad. It was, he's not the fastest on his feet. I felt sorry for him, but yeah, bad, I thought.
Just to get into the comments, Boone Sengli says heart attack. TSOM says Solanke is a proper centre forward. That second was brilliant. Completely agree. Be Good Now 5 says Dom is a poacher, but I think he's a poacher. But his hold up play. I mean, I know I've talked about this for a few weeks now, but his hold up play is better than Harry Kane's hold up play was. Now he's not like a 9 and 10 like Kane. He's not an incredible passer, and he's not going to score you goals from outside the box the way Kane did, but he brings us something, I think, anyway, in that final third that allows us to recycle the ball and keep the ball in that final third the way we weren't able to do last season.
Yeah. I think you're probably right. He's surprised me in a nice way. Yeah, his hold-up play is superb. He's good on the ball. I've only been disappointed, but not today, with his positional play, but that's because he's just adjusting to a new team and a new system. It's an unfortunate characteristic that you sort of, or I do anyway, not compare him to Harry Kane, but you're used to the runs from Harry Kane to get away from somebody, near post, far post, whatever. And he wasn't seeming to do that. But as you say, his hold-up play, bringing people in, is extremely good. And today, his finishing was superb. You couldn't want any more from him today than his finishing, along with his hold-up play.
Yeah, Stevie D has just sent an interesting comment. Says, do not forget that if we didn't have the mindset and setup to score goals, we would have lost this quarterfinal with those keeper errors. You have to score to win games. I guess that is one way of looking at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And
it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, go on. Yeah, it is nerve-wracking. It is nerve-wracking. But listen, to be fair, Ange is keeping up his end, isn't he? In that we all wanted better football when we had Conte and Mourinho, and we have better football. And we're in our first semi-final for a few years. Yash is just sending in some stats. Stat alert: first time we've beaten United home and away in the same season since 89-90, and we beat them three times, including in the League Cup. Okay, so there we go. That's a good little stat there. TSOM says we do need a different type of striker for options. Now they are apparently very interested in Jonathan David. We definitely need more options because, listen, if Solanke got injured now, we would be up the creek without a paddle, just in the same way that what we saw with Vicario today. I think he's incredibly important. Now, Steve, I want to ask you about Jed Spence. What were your thoughts on his performance?
He was tremendous, especially in the first half. He was, breaking down the flank. He was overlapping. He's immense. I don't know how tall he is, but he's extremely powerful on the ball. And to me, maybe it's because Ndogi is now getting tired as the season goes on. He's been overplayed. But Jed Spence just seems well up for it. And I'm very pleased we've got an option there. Yeah, absolutely. First class.
Tony Bell says Spence was crack on in this match, man of the match for sure. Simon Wood says I'd play Spence ahead of Udogie, who was dropped off big time from last year. Gray's going to be a world class as a central midfielder. Bergvall slowly adjusting and will be class next season. I mean, that's it, isn't it? It's like
the youngsters.
It feels a lot like, these injuries have kind of probably forwarded on the development of some of these kids quicker than it would have happened already. So that is a positive. But the key is, I think, we need to get the results over the rest of December and early January to keep Ange in the job when the injuries come back, so that then we can really see the benefits.
Yeah, that's right. I would really hate for us to, get rid of Ange. That would be that's not a good idea at all, and that's putting it mildly. We need to see it out, and he needs to be given a chance, because these injuries are nobody could handle the injuries and the depth of squad that he hasn't got at the moment.
TSOM says Spencer's a real handful, so happy with him. Robin Kim says Jed's speed is so great. And Kai McDonald makes a good point, and I want to ask you about this, Steve. Timo Werner not even on the bench today, and I certainly haven't heard or read anything as to why. And actually, Yesh says in the comments, Timo should be on a boat back to Germany. How do you feel? Is it likely, apparently Mikey Moore is back in training, so is it likely we might have seen the end of Timo Werner?
I shouldn't be unkind and say I hope so, but my opinion in watching football is I hope so. I'm sorry to say. I'd love to see Mikey Moore, obviously back in the fold and given the opportunities that are up to, for me, that Timo Werner has had and hasn't taken. You can't give the guy any more chances. Big Ange has backed him, played him so many times, and he just hasn't come up with the goods. I feel sorry for him, but it's that's it basically. I'm glad he's going, if he's going.
Yeah. Simon Wood says multiple basic mistakes every game. Paper thin squad, and Spurs are in a semi and a game and a bit away from Champions League spot. Bright future under Ange. Give it time. Yeah. I agree. We do have to be patient, and these, but it's these games. The Southampton 5-0 and winning tonight that I think are going to allow the fan base to unite behind Ange. I really do think that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it was very important tonight that we, not only the Southampton game where we obviously blew them away, but this game we hung on. We didn't do what we've done in the past so many times, as obviously we've all reiterated, that, losing it, giving it away. We've held on, and we're now in a semi-final. I'm really pleased for Ange, because he was looking absolutely crestfallen when that second mistake and that goal went in. The mistake from Fraser Foster and let them in. God knows what was going through his mind. But
no, absolutely, it was very nearly what we're all used to, but it wasn't. And we're through to the semi, and there's I think the draw is going to come soon. Steve, thank you so much for calling in, and hopefully speak to you after that Liverpool game.
Thank you very much, Barnaby. Enjoy the show, and see you after the Liverpool game.
Top man. Thanks a lot, mate. Bye-bye.
Okay. All the best. Bye-bye.
Okay, guys, just before I bring in our last guest, sorry, I should say, please do, if you're not already, please do subscribe to Chris Cowlin's channel, @ChrisCowlin, for daily Spurs content. Also, for more daily Spurs content, and I'll be bringing daily transfer window news content as well during January. Go to my YouTube, which is there in the bottom left-hand corner. It's @Barnaby Slater _, not @Barnaby Slater. It's @Barnaby Slater _ for more Spurs content then. And once again, at 11 o'clock, so in just 20 minutes' time, Chris Cowlin will be hosting the Spurs Chat podcast. He'll be joined by Ricky Norwood, Harry Hennings, and Jim Brentar. And I'm sure they'll all be telling everybody how their heart nearly fell out of their backside during the second half of that game. I'll just get in some of the comments. Friax Radu says, guys, no one is going to talk about Dragushin's performance. It was massive. The way he made Højlund and even Xerxes look like small kids, the way he was taking care of Gray to perform well. I completely agree, actually. And thank you for writing in, Freaks Radu. Clearly a big fan of Radu. And rightly so. I think, it was only probably a month or 6 weeks ago that I was worried about Dragushin. I really was. But he is growing into this squad. He's growing into the performance. His passing is improving. He is a brilliant box defender. He's great in the air. I love the way he plowed through Højlund in that first half. Just one of those, like, now you know I'm here, mate. Now you know you're in a battle. And I agree. It's absolutely vital that he's alongside Archie Gray, as Archie Gray is playing in an unfamiliar position. So, yeah, absolutely brilliant from Radu Dragushin, as was Gray. Stevie D says this: Spence is playing now because he's ready now. We aren't at the training pitch and in sessions to know what has been happening and how he's developed. Whatever they've done, it's working. Yeah, I think that's a good point. But like I've said a couple of times, he might just be one of those players who is not a great trainer like Eden Hazard. And so the manager's just like, well, I can't give you a chance. But on the pitch, he is showing things that neither of those two fullbacks have. And that's not to say that they're bad, because they're not. They're brilliant. But what an option. And if we can bring in one more player this January, a centre-back who can also play at left-back, They're interested in Hincapi, I think, at the moment, and from as one of those potential options. Then, yeah, we could be looking good going forward. And, of course, we can also add players to that Europa League squad if we get through that first round. Adrian Kinslaw says, greetings from a sunny Sydney morning, looking at the names on the bench of Man U and then the kids on Spurs bench. Ange had no one other than Lucas and Brennan to make an impact. Yeah, Man United had absolutely more depth, and that's why we got so fatigued in that second half. But can't blame fatigue on what Fraser Forster did. But we got through it, and that's all that matters. Sydney Moose says, Radu is a beast. Stu Miller says, Ange needs another 2 years of solid squad building. We have to give him time, as clubs like Liverpool do. Completely agree. Let's talk to Patrick from Canada. How are you, Patrick? Can you hear me, mate?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. How you doing?
Top man. Thank you for being so patient, Patrick. How did that game look from Canada?
Oh, my God. It was a roller coaster. It was an absolute roller coaster. First half was sweet. Again, like, I can't speak enough about Archie Gray. Like, my best mate, his grandmother's a huge Leeds fan.
Okay.
And all I can think about is, you know, he came from Leeds, the Championship, a league below us, where he was used to playing midfield, started playing right back. We signed him as that kind of player. Now he's playing center back and shutting down Man United strikers. Outrageous. Like, it's absolutely outrageous. Good pair for Dragusin. I'm glad that Dragusin's staying on the right. Man, great first half. And then, holy shit. Oh, my God. Fraser Forster.
Patrick, wait, let me just interrupt because they're doing the draw now. Let me know who you want. They're doing the draw right now.
Arsenal, 100%.
Okay, first team out of the draw are Arsenal. So let's see who are going to face Arsenal. Now, Jamie Redknapp is picking this next ball. Who do you want least? Newcastle.
Yeah, likely Newcastle. I don't want to play Liverpool in the final.
It's Arsenal-Newcastle. So we've got Liverpool in a two-legged. Yeah, but I don't mind it, Patrick, because if you think about it, they're going to be gunning for the league. They're going to be gunning for the Champions League. And Spurs, you know, should have some of our injuries back. Spurs have been drawn out first. So that presumably means we're at home first, which actually isn't good. You'd rather be at home second, probably.
Definitely. And it's also Arne Slot's first chance at silverware. I know that he's top of the league. He's doing well in Champions League, blah, blah, blah. I just don't think he'll take the competition lightly. Klopp didn't in the final. He did in the semifinal against, I guess he did play a young squad against Chelsea last year. The billion-pound bottle jobs, as Gary Neville called them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, put it this way. I think our best chance to beat Liverpool is over two legs, probably. Actually, do you know what? They have such a good record at Anfield. But for me, listen, maybe I'm being overly positive because we made it into the semi-final, but we had to beat Man City. We had to beat Man United. Now we're going to have to beat Liverpool. And I think they will realistically not play their strongest team.
Yeah, they probably won't. I will say this one thing is now Liverpool are going to exploit their really comprehensive press against Fraser Forster on Sunday.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a bloodbath potentially.
Yeah,
I'm nervous. Like our bench today, you know, we put on Reguilon. When did he even play last? We had one like actual senior team player. Like we are stretched.
Patrick, do you think, because Scribble Scrabble in the comments has just said, I hope tonight hasn't rocked Forster's confidence. He was doing so well for us, man. Do you think he'll be able to bounce back from that?
I really hope so. I mean, the last time I was on this show, I think it was when we drew Fulham, and I just said, like, honestly, like the big takeaway is like I'm not scared that Fraser Forster's in nets. And then like after all that, I was like, oh God, I take every word I said back. So anyway, I just hope he gets some coaching. He's a mature player. He knows that these things happen, and he's been punished before at Southampton with stuff like this. So I hope that it's just a lesson. Like he might just have to play the long bombs. No attempts at cheeky short play. Although he wasn't even playing some crazy. He wasn't being risky. He was just slow.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to choose to stick to some positivity and say I'm glad it happened when we were 3-0 up rather than in a more important situation. Yeah, I do like the idea that possibly this draw, sorry, to go back to the draw, could end up with the Tottenham versus Newcastle trophy derby, where it's like Newcastle haven't won a trophy for like 60 years. Spurs haven't won a trophy since 2008. Who is gonna take home their first trophy?
Yeah, and we're both kind of like, we're both similar positions in the league. Like it would be good. It would be a good matchup. I'd like to see that at Wembley. Yeah.
I just want us to go to Wembley. I really do. Let's get back into Patrick, actually, let's go back to, everything that happened before Fraser Forster. Talk me through who you think really, was outstanding on the day for Spurs tonight.
Jed Spence was really good. Everyone's been saying it. Jed Spence was fantastic. Good close play. He was able to break through presses, like 2v1 presses. He did really well. I know a lot of people say that he should start over Udogie. I just think, like, before I was thinking we need a left back. But because Udogie doesn't really have competition. Ben Davis, he's a center back now. He's not really considered in that conversation. But it's good that there's competition now. Like, that was great. What a performance. Solanke has to be my man of the match. I know he had 2 goals, and most people are going to be talking about that. But his off the ball play is outrageous. Yeah. Like, his pressing, he was coming back. Like, we just seemed like we were scrambling on defense sometimes, and he was back there clearing balls. I was like, how is Solanke back here already? Like, it didn't make any sense. It was amazing. And his hold-up play, you've said it 1,000 times already on the show. His hold-up play is outrageous. Better than Kane's. It's better than Kane's.
Fantastic. Yeah. And Archie, how about Archie Gray and Radu Dragusin? Props for them.
Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. Like, again, like they've been playing big games, like strong performances against strong teams. Again, I'm not really afraid that we don't have our starting center backs. They're super injury prone now, and now we have like safe options at the back, even though, Archie Gray is 18, 19 years old. I didn't even know he was going to be playing as much as he is. Yeah. Like, it's fantastic.
Incredible. Yeah. And let's give a little bit of credit, I guess, to Yves Bissouma, although he did do some wild stuff, but also like nearly scoring that own goal. But he was everywhere tonight. And I actually think he benefited from getting that rest for that suspension in the last game.
Yeah, I agree. Yves Bissouma did really well. Good pressing, good interceptions. Gave the ball away in the midfield, but that's classic Yves Bissouma. And he typically makes up for it. Again, he almost had that own goal, but he was strong today. He was strong. Yeah, good performance. And I gotta say, Kulusevski, holy shit! That stat this morning about the top 5 chances created since February of when he showed up or whatever, and he's number 5 in the Premier League. And like today, he created just as many chances on the ball as he did off the ball. Like, he set himself up. He got Son to feed him in the right places. 3 shots on target. Great goal, Yeah,
listen, I think one of the biggest credits I can give to Decky Kulusevski is he's not one of the players I've been asking everyone how they thought he played, because we're so used to him playing at that level. But true. His strength, his ability to hold the ball up and bring other players in. He's I've said it before, like, if he had an extra yard of pace, he would be a genuine superstar in world football. But I think the reason that he's at Spurs is because he doesn't have that extra yard of pace. So we're quite lucky. We're lucky to have him. But he said in the interview before the game, they did a big interview with him on Sky, and he said his next plan is to kind of go the next level by improving his shooting and his finishing. And I loved that he took that goal on his right foot first time. He didn't think about it, and it was a good connection. And he's improving all the time. And I could see him as a future leader of this club, he's a proper winner. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of an underdog story, He had like a bit of a shadow career at Juventus, never really played, didn't get a lot of game time. They chopped and changed managers a bit, and then we snatched him up. Yeah. And that kind of happened a bit. Like, he flew out of the gates, and then injuries and blah, blah, blah. But now he's just settled, and like, oh man, I hope he doesn't get injured, because we don't have anybody like him in the squad.
Right. Steve Dyer says Decky is dynamite. Be good now 5. So to be honest, it's strange just how good most of the players were individually, but we come out scraping through, isn't it? Actually, that's a really good point, because also it's almost like the in-game example of our season, where it's like we score more goals than everybody else. We've got a good defensive record, but still we're 10th in the league. Whereas like today, I feel like, we scored some great goals. We're 3-0 up. Everything's fine. And then we find a way to very nearly grab defeat from the jaws of victory. What made you support Spurs in the first place, Patrick? And how do you get through this mental illness on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, well, my old man was born like within a couple miles of the stadium. He's British, so I'm second gen, I guess. Yeah. Could have my passport. So by default, and of no choice of my own, and maybe to my everlasting regret, I'm a lifelong Spurs fan. But yeah, anyway, the ongoing mental illness is wild. But when the highs are high, and like the lows are just absolutely rock bottom.
Yeah, and it is just more fun. I know I've said it already, but it's more fun now watching Spurs than it was under Conte and Jose. But of course, it does come with like that feeling like you're going to have to jump off a balcony.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know if I've done this.
Win.
Yeah, I don't know if I've done this one yet, but Simon said Fraser actually made a couple of good saves tonight, but he should be told not to distribute Christmas presents during the game. He did. He made a huge save from the header from Xerxes, but I do have to say he was the one who kind of put us in that trouble with a dodgy kick out. It's an interesting one, and you mentioned it, but it will be interesting to see how Fraser deals with kicking it short in the Liverpool game.
Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna cope with that. Yeah, I mean, like long balls might just have to be the game until he really settles into it. But the problem is we were settled in. He made good saves in the first half. He was playing okay. Like his parries were great, like basically along the goal line in the first half. Like all those were great. And nobody's talked about that one save that he made where he didn't even know that he was getting shot at, and he just like booted it last minute, and he had all the time in the world to do something.
Mate, I described that.
Goal number 3. Like I couldn't.
I described that in my post-match reaction as like one of the weirdest saves I've ever seen, because I actually think that happened because his confidence was in the floor and his brain was fuzzed. He's like, it moved quite late. I think he would have probably tried to get down to it, and maybe it would have been hard to get down to because it's one of those ones that was right by his foot. You got to give him the credit for that. It's a good save in the end.
And it was a good clearance too.
Let me just ask before I let you go, mate. We're into the last couple of minutes of this now. We've talked a little bit about the Liverpool game. What is your prediction for that game?
We're at home, yeah?
We're at home, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I'm just I'll be safe and say I think we'll draw the game and we'll be happy with it. But I would love to win it. But I like Liverpool have so much momentum, not nearly the injuries that we do. They are just a force to be reckoned with right now.
They are, and they will make chances.
1-1.
They'll make chances, but I think we'll make chances as well. Patrick, you've gone for 1-1. Thanks so much for calling in, mate. Let's talk again after maybe after the Liverpool game.
Yeah, cheers. Shout out to my boys in the group chat one last time.
Top man. See you later. Bye. Okay, guys, we're into the last couple of minutes now. Once again, please, if you would like to appear as a guest on a future episode, please email tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. That's tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. Chris will be back in about 7 minutes' time hosting the Spurs Chat podcast. It will be on a separate feed, but on Chris's channel. So stay on Chris's channel. Go across for the Spurs Chat podcast for more Tottenham Hotspur fan opinions. It'll be with Ricky Norwood, Harry Hennings, and Jim Brentar. And also, once again, Chris and the Spurs Chat podcast have been nominated in the Best Team Podcast category in the Sports Podcast Awards in 2025. And you can vote for the Spurs Chat podcast by clicking on the link in the description box below. Let's get Chris winning that big award. Guys, it's been a mental game. I'm still a little bit in shock, but listen, the only thing that's important is we found a way through, didn't we? We found a way through. We're in the semi-finals. We've got a two-legged tie against Liverpool. It'll be fun. It won't be easy. I don't think they'll play their first team. The first tie of that is on the 6th of January, so very early after Christmas. Yeah, let's take Liverpool over 2 legs, get to Wembley, and win our first trophy since 2008. Guys, this has been an enjoyable watch along, if albeit very, very frightening at times. But like I said, the key thing is that we're in that final. Come on, you Spurs.